around, but I'm still battling. Moving fast while you just pedaling. No time for me, no tangling. Hit you in the spot with no angling.
Another princess,
A lot of anger in it.
and a cutie girl from oh no, don't you know?
Flash rhymes coated with spangles. Add some sounds and at times wangles. Three dots connect to rectangles. Just like music sounds connect them rambles.
You cannot run away
Hell nah, no man can run away.
from me. I stay in heaven's spot. It's demolition, wiping over.
Wipe out.
I want gold until it's over.
Yeah.
It's coalition. This is our wreckage. Come to me and let it be
Been a little while, but I'm still battling. Moving fast while you just pedaling. No time for me, no tangling. Hit you in the spot with no angling.
another princess,
A lot of anger in it.
and a cutie girl from oh no, don't you know?
Flash rhymes coated with spangles. Add some sounds and at times wangles. Three dots connect to rectangles. Just like music sounds connect them rambles.
You cannot run away
Hell nah, no man can run away.
from me. I stay in heaven's spot. It's demolition, wiping over.
Wipe out.
I want gold until it's over.
Yeah.
It's coalition. This is our wreckage. Come to me
Okay, I think that's good. Audio-wise. Here I am. I'm here. Fate's going there. I got all my craft essences ready. We're ready. I had to organize them because, you know, you think you don't need all those 3-star craft essences. You're like, whatever. Screw those. I could just burn those later. But then sometimes you just don't have the right count on servants, and one of those would be real helpful. So I gotta make sure to keep all those cleaned up nicely. All of them combined. I'll combine all the 3 stars. The 4 and the 5 stars I won't until I have enough of them to combine. We all know this. This is all gotcha talk. Hey, how you doing? It's time to go to Rome. Alrighty. Now, I'm struggling with reading all of this. I really want to read it all, but it's like, there's so many characters. I'm not a voice actor. I do my best. I'm gonna try a bit better, though. I can't get better unless I try, you know? Gotta be a little cringe sometimes. But it's also dawned on me, I don't know what the hell is going on in the story half the time. So, am I low IQ? Am I a slow brain, I wonder? I ask myself. Then I remember, I can play Persona a billion times. I've never been lost in the plot of Persona. It's only when Fate and friggin' Kingdom Hearts come into the Japanese JRPG scene that things get a bit confusing. I don't know. I might argue that's because the writing's a bit convoluted. That's a problematic take. You don't want no people with Roxas and Sora profile pictures attacking you. Their arguments are bad and they're not worth fighting about. And you wonder how it got that way. Oh, because they play a game and like a plot that makes no sense? We've talked enough about Kingdom Hearts in this Fate playthrough. Alright. Saber. So we want a Lancer and we want an Archer. We don't need no Sabers. They hold us back. Well, said Rome and Nero is a good excuse to just use Draco whenever we want. You know what? You're right. You're right. I gotta do that. Thanking him, I call it. Do that before we do anything. Because all this... Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem. AP isn't 0 no more for story quest. I can only make one of these. Because I actually need some AP to do the quest. I'll level up very fast, so I'll bank all that back. Yeah, it's just sitting there. Just being wasteful. Save all these apples for an event or something. I think that's what you're supposed to do. Is a good gacha player with good resource management skills. Oh, dude, I'm still over on AP. I can't get all two. It'll take all the AP. It'll take it all away from me, and then I won't be able to do the story quests. No! I thought you just got 0 AP because how you ever gonna catch up to the Lost Belts when you have to read a Lord of the Rings style novel every time you have a singularity? But no, they still want us to pay. Anyway, this is party 10. What is this? Here's current. This is just wherever it goes. This is where Joan of Arc's hanging out. But then we got, this is everybody who's ever murdered a child. Elizabeth Bathory, Caligula, he was terrible, we learned. And then Bluebeard, he also loves murdering children. So this is the child murder team for when we need them. Then this is everybody who's Rome and Elizabeth Bathory, because she shows up in Rome. This is probably who we're gonna use. Well, we need an archer. And this is Team Friends. Arash is cool. Mashu. Everybody loves Mashu. And child murderer Elizabeth Bathory with others. I've got this pretty organized, I'd say. We'll use this team. Did I hear a good gacha player with good resource management? That's rare. Well, I mean, if you live by the gacha sword, die by the gacha sword, shouldn't you have it all figured out? The pattern recognition of when resources come available? That bronze berserker is just wrong. The child murderer bronze berserker? Anyway. Him. Let me get my mash ready. Well, mash was Daria. I can't have that going on with fucking LSP Thenno over here. She's just normal until I have it figured out. It won't be long until we're in Rome again. Good work on the way back, senpai. Well, she's just lovely. Nero, though. Demon cringe? I know, I should have provided a chariot. I apologize, the few soldiers left in the unit are brilliant, but none of them fight on chariots. Your Majesty, should I provide a chariot for the next expedition? See, the thing with Nero is her dubbed voice actress is the same one who's Morgana from Persona 5. And whenever I think Morgana, I just think of him bitching at Japanese names today. You know, blonde degenerate boy. I assume anybody who plays Fate Grand Order has played all the Persona games, because if you're playing this for the story over, you know, a good JRPG, I don't know what's wrong with you. Dude, are they ever gonna voice... They're never gonna put voice acting in this American release of Fate Grand Order. That's too much. That's just throwing money away. I'm sure we'll need one anyway. After next time, we'll be attacking the United Empire capital. She's an attention seeker, though. She's got that going for her, too. Sir. Aw, dude, play Persona. It's kind of like this. You got the visual novel element. They're always really good stories. And then you get the turn-based RPG to break up the monotony. Yes, it's like a live service game, but you see it's not live service. You can play it on the go. Your Majesty, we seem to be under attack. Enemy brigade up ahead. Multiple signatures. I'm ready to go.
I am bloodlusted right now.
You got Actually Satan? I got Actually Satan to Noble Phantasm 5 because he is my favorite. Unlimited Blade Works is one of the greatest video game OSTs. I could not believe it was from the visual novel. I thought it was made for the anime. How foolish of me. I'm glad you didn't play video games until college, because you know what? I've worked in a nursing home. It's as miserable as you'd think it'd be, but I think when our generation gets there, the nursing home's gonna be cool. We've got nothing to do. We're not gonna watch the news. Who wants that? News won't even exist then. We're just gonna play Nuzlocke and fucking turn-based RPGs all day on our mobile video game systems, and it'll be wonderful. We should really just stop gaming as much as we do and save it for later. Save it for when our children don't call us. We won't have them, but we'll have our waifus. I've been playing Fate Grand Order. I think I started in 2017, but like I said, I put it down for a few years. But I got a lot of them, yeah. Maybe it's because there were less servants, so you know they had better statistics in the poll. I wonder. I don't have Elizabeth Bathory though. I've never gotten her until now. Wow, you couldn't style all over that berserker, huh? Learned last stream that rumor says that while Rome burned, and Nero from Fate and real Nero, minus whatever propaganda, it's very similar, but they say that Nero played a violin as the city burned, and I said that should be Nero Claudius's finishing move in Fate. She just wears sunglasses and dances on your grave with a violin. That's some styling. Fate Grand Order is the Walking Dead of visual novels, though. It's like you'll be having a conversation, and then it's like there's growling behind you. Turn around, it's a horde of zombies, and sometimes it really is. Like Nero Claudius, of course. Aw, dude, you just well-actually'd me. With instruments. That's okay, I don't know nothing about music. This team, we'll go Team Rome, let's go. That's strange, we're running into the same amount of enemies as before. You're right, even though we already regained control of nearby Gaul. Don't tell me they're attacking from the sea. If our scouts haven't noticed, then... The scouts were discovered and killed. We might be dealing with an elite battalion. Well, that explains it. But if so, that would mean... It's as I feared. I'm detecting even more enemies now. Brave soldiers, please be safe. I'm going to do what I can. Good luck to you, Miss Mash. Your orders, please, Master. Commencing battle. Man, imagine you kissed your wife and daughters and everybody goodbye, kind of like Frank Castle, and you show up to the Roman military, and then all these fucking waifus with their tits hanging out come to save the day. What a crazy existence for these NPCs. Are you ready, Mr. Rome? You're ready to show them what for? And Julius Caesar, he's here too. Now, does that count as a lance, really? He just sort of, like, beats him with a... I don't know what that is. This is what happens. See, I don't know no history. They say I learned it in high school, but I'm not so sure no more. Obviously, the grammar, they say I got straight A's in language arts. Hear the way I talk, but it was Indiana school, mind you. I don't know what we're gonna do when we get to Salem. I can't say Massachusetts. They let me graduate talking like this. Julius Caesar is not too bad, hot take. Dude, so like it makes sense if you think about it as far as all the Roman servants, because like Nero is extra. That's why they made a whole series for her called Fate Extra to deal with how extra she is. Friggin' Artoria Pendragon's like, oh, I failed Britain. Oh, I let it down. Nero's just like, I might have burnt it down, but I'm wonderful. Check me out. I'm the greatest. I'll talk to you naked and I'll hit on you no matter what gender, because I'm the best. Like, and she's related to all these people. Because you know, it's a monarchy. They're all of the same blood. Why should we be surprised? They're all extra and dramatic. Makes sense. Said, behind all the gooning, behind all the marketing, all the waifus, Nasu gets this world, but he's got a special world building brain, and it all kind of does make sense. I keep thinking for Fate Stay Night, oh so great that Gilgamesh just changes his character motivation for Heaven's Field, depending on what happened, but it actually all makes sense if you consider they're all heroic spirits and whatnot. Said it's not many holes actually in Fate. Those soldiers just now, they're not like the ones we've run into before. Not that they look much different, but... True, rather than human soldiers, they feel like servants. Yet they're not really servants per se. Doctor, do you have an idea? I can think of several possibilities. Not good. Things like this are typically related to noble phantasms. And I don't mean typical noble phantasms, the type that's designed for use on the battlefield. The musics. And I don't mean typical noble phantasms, the type that's designed for use on the battlefield. In which case... Anyone coming to attack us? Alright, we don't need to break out Team Child Murderer yet. Hanging out with Julius Caesar, who I still don't think is that bad. I said I'm an appreciator of the sea stars now. I went playing years not actually understanding how those work. I thought they were just random. I'd never considered the difference between gather and drop. What a fool I was. Master, I'm sensing the presence of a servant. There's one, no, several hundred. It's the same presence from before, but I can only tell that one of them is an actual servant. Enemy attack! Several hundred enemy soldiers! This back. Okay. Is this an ambush? Where did the several hundred enemies come from? Aw, dude, Leonidas is here. He's gonna strut all over us. It's not an ambush. I chose to defend this place, that's all. You people trespassed into my stronghold, so I shall defend it. I will crush any and all enemies more valiantly than any attack, and far stronger than any defense. This is how us Spartans fight. You'll soon experience yourself. Did you just say Sparta? Like the movie? Then you're... Servant Lancer, my true name is Leonidas. He's not hiding his true name, just like last time. This is far different than the normal Holy Grail War. Leonidas? You introduce yourself as King Leonidas of Sparta? Precisely. It is an immoral war, but I'm still gonna destroy you. See you later, Kakarot. This is Leonidas from Sparta. What? You were the legendary Leonidas, the guardian of the Hot Gates? What happens at the Hot Gates stays at the Hot Gates. So the emperors aren't the only one who came back. Then what about Boudica? We need to learn about Boudica. Stay focused on the battle, Nero. Calm down. Moo? That's a sad one. Moo. Sad. Never mind that, Nero. There are many enemies. We must strengthen our defenses. Moo, our unit is quite small. I hope we're able to defend. Yeah, I don't remember him as a... Well, it's very difficult because we got Spartacus here too. Leonidas BL and... Okay, so I'm assuming Spartacus created. I don't fucking know. I don't know history. But which one's most likely to just yell Sparta and fight for the lower class? I like that Spartacus was kind of an SJW and Apocrypha. Makes sense. He'd be like a union leader. Master, it's a servant battle. Your orders, please. Hit them and make the numbers go high. There you go. You got this, Mash. It concerned me that I had too much Persona music. I said, this is all great for video essays and whatever else I'm doing, but need some more music for if I'm gonna play it in the background. So I fixed the problem by downloading a lot more Persona music, but then I got some Fate music to even it out. But I checked out Age of Empires, because I'm like, Rome's in that game, and it's kind of a banger soundtrack. It's got a lot of good guitar. I hope EA or something didn't make it and I don't get no copyrights. We don't need Nero styling over everybody. Yeah, isn't it like I've heard that like slavery in old-timey times, it's still horrible, but the idea is you're forcing someone to come into your culture and give up their savage ways and be part of yours. Like, so I guess, you know, work for free for a few years, then we'll be cool with you was kind of the concept. I don't know. Like, up, you're Spartans, now you're Romans, now you're Greek. Ah, there he is. Yo, Romulus and Nero have the same skills. What's that about? I like going for the combo. And then everybody works together. It feels like an all-out attack. Come together, all you relatives. I think Nero's related to, she's related to Julius Caesar, right? They're all descendants. I'm just shocked by how many people in Rome have been, like, stabbed and murdered by their own people, and, like, no one liked them. Can't believe people live there. I don't know. I just think if you live in monarchy, bloodlines rolling over you and being crazy all the time, I just live as far away from the capital as possible. But then you're gonna have like Mongols and stuff attacking you all the time. There's just no winning. Where is honestly? Oh no. I let this go on too long. Oh, was that his noble phantasm? Well, that's just unfortunate. Is this why he's a 1-star? Dude, do y'all know that Genghis Khan actually wasn't that evil from the extra history video I watched? He kind of like, well, he lived this savage lifestyle. You know, he had to kill his brother because his brother was being a bully. Shot him straight up in the woods at like age 12 or something. His mother had been a slave. He was like wife number 2 of when you just kidnap women and that's your wife back in the day. So then when he ruled, he just tried to, he said, these things in my life suck, so I'm gonna change them and make sure they don't happen to the generations next. It's like, unlike iDubbbz of YouTube fame, Genghis Khan actually unlocked empathy. He got a level up. Crazy. Just as I thought, huh? In a battle with nothing to protect. Dude, he's a man of few words. He's out of here. He vanished, so he wasn't meant to exist in this world after all. He was a formidable enemy. Just what you'd expect of the ultimate defensive heroic spirit. He kinda sucked. I don't want him. I'm never using him. You're gonna stall, though. There's so many better options, like Jeanne d'Arc. No signs of servants or humans around us. No phantasmals either. He's disappointed. Then let's head back to Rome. Mash, Demon Cringe, you can hold your heads up high. Umu, you in particular, Mash, your skills aren't as good as mine. But they are quite good. I was just thinking, what is the origin of Umu? Did she just say that in Fate Extra? Or is it one of them memes? Hey. So, for those in the know about actually Satan, Project Mouthwash Fate Abridged, you remember how what's-his-face felt like a saber? He wasn't a saber, he was an assassin, but he felt like a saber. I really enjoyed seeing him as a saber in Fate Grand Order. I like to think it was an Easter egg. Haha, hold your head up high with pride. This is our triumphant return from Gaul, after all. My head is up high. I'm feeling very high today. Nero, thank you. Aw, dude, section 10. Jinky, who invited you here? If all you do is kill, why would I want to put you in my team? That's just a horrible selling point right there. Okay, we're good on Lancers. We need Dolphin John d'Arc. That'll help solve our problems. And child murderer Elizabeth Bathory. Perfect. Perfect. French Rome team combined. Phew, at last things have settled down. That was an unbelievable crowd. It was like a festival, senpai. You got squished pretty hard, didn't you? You didn't seem that uncomfortable. Maybe you like that sort of thing. Mash, you need to chill. You're telling me when to sleep. You're asking me how I feel when I get squished. It's becoming a bit too much. I see at festivals, everyone becomes friendly, right? Haha, I bet you didn't mind at all. That's what you call a victory wine.
Now that's a funny name.
Good job. Unseen Mage, you speak as though you've actually tasted some. Haha, I have a vivid imagination, which has led me into all kinds of situations. Mash, you protected us well. Do you not like being touched? As expected, the great warrior of shields swore loyalty only to me. It makes me like you even more. Thank you. It's nice of you to say that. Why are you looking at me? You designer baby? They call you that. They unironically call you that, Mash, and you want to tell me what to do? My time? Yes, well, no, nothing. I have nothing to say. Your Majesty, the Special Expedition Force is heading back to Rome. What? Those people are coming back? Yes, both generals are alive and well, but now they are tied down due to a massive attack by the United Empire. That's not good. I'm sorry, Mash, Demon Cringe. Yes, Senpai, your orders, please. Let's go help them. Dude, no one would use names like United back in the day like this, I don't think. I just think the airport. I feel like the United States started that trend. Lubu's here too. We're completely surrounded. Nothing but swarms of enemies around us. That shouldn't be a problem, but... Yeah, we'll probably lose soldiers. Nero Claudius provided for us. I'd like to avoid that if possible. Find a way out of an impossible situation. People like you and me can get through it on our own. It would be too harsh to force them to do that. What should we do, huh? Invest in traffic cones. Reinforcements, huh? Though I heard Boudica and Spartacus were in Gaul. You must be Jinki. I recognize you from your description. Looks like we met up with them, Master. I'm relieved. Yes, we made it. You look unfamiliar, but you don't seem to be an enemy. No, we're not. We're reinforcements from Rome. You guys are... Let's talk later. You're servants too, aren't you? Yes. Then let's find a way out together. My hope is to bring as many soldiers back to Rome as possible. Of course, Master. Massive enemy troops ahead. Your orders, please. Oh, I've already said this. I am horrible at pronouncing Japanese and Chinese names. Can't even pronounce American names half the time. Why can't everybody just be named Thomas and Sam? I was playing Digimon Survive. That's one of the first video game streams I did, and I wound up just localizing the whole game. I just wound up changing everyone's name to, like, Sarah and Jessica. But it also just couldn't call them Digimon either. It had to be extra like that. Calling them like Koga Maki or, and I was like, no, they're Digimon. Don't do this. So many. I wish I had that amazing command code that lets you beat up Roman people. I believe that is from, like, the last event. Fuck it, dolphin time. Who doesn't love dolphins? I am the girl who picks the subbed anime. I mean, not subbed, dubbed. Well, sometimes you gotta be on your cell phone during the anime. You can't be reading. And two, I like a lot of the American voice actors. And I feel like I can't give the Japanese voice actors the same respect because I don't know their language, so it's unfair, so I don't know if they're doing the performance amazing or not. And everyone in Dragon Ball Z is like an 80-year-old lady. We've destroyed the enemy forces and sustained only minor casualties. Good work, Senpai. Thank you again. Looks like I didn't lose my borrowed troops. I'm Assassin Jin Kei. Like you, I'm a guest commander under Nero Claudius. I was drawn by the prospect of killing multiple emperors, but now I'm treated like a general. Oh, she's a crazy. But she did have the noble phantasm, all I do is kill. As I said, she didn't put her first good foot forward. These assassin servants just bragging about how they kill. It's his job to do the actual work. Lu Bu, I wonder where he's gone chasing those enemies. I'm sure he'll be back eventually. Is it? Don't all the girls love Lu Bu, I've heard? Jin Kei, the legendary Chinese assassin. No wonder you're obsessed with killing emperors. Huh? How dare you? Who said that? Who's saying such things that I, the assassin Jin Kei, who kills emperors and was brought by the prospect, does that? I understand your circumstances. That said, that doesn't change what we must do here. We're here to slaughter the emperors, me and Lu Bu. I don't kill emperors, I slaughter them. It's different. We've already killed 3 enemy emperor servants. It's gonna be a competition with you guys. Sure, a competition. I'm not losing to you. That's so. As soon as we're back in Rome, Nero's full-scale invasion of the United Empire will start. And there comes the race. We count the heads of emperors or enemy generals. Our team, or your team, which gets more? Heh. Now I have something to look forward to. Ah. There she is. Well, something to look forward to. It's almost like all she does is kill, Mash. Can't, Senpai. I can't maintain the conversation. Yeah, what do you discuss with a psycho murderer? Just have to do your best. Senpai? So they failed to eliminate Lu Bu. What should we do, Levlinar? There's nothing to worry about. Don't forget that I have the Holy Grail. I told you before, didn't I? That's my thing. I carry a Holy Grail wherever I go. It is his thing. Where's Boudica? Aw, dude, brought in baby Iskandar up in here. This is back when he played in Minecraft before he got into more edgy freaking content. So what should I do, Master? Eliminate Nero Claudius immediately. Destroy this era and crush the foundation of humanity. You know how you're a heroic spirit? Take heroic out of your name and go do some spiritual shit. And by that I mean turn them into spirits. Well, that's quite confusing, Levliner. I'll lend you my troops. Use them as you see fit. Got it. In short, you want me to start a war, right? Exactly. War, war, war. I guess I'm very good at that. Alright, if you insist, I'll borrow your troops. But I can't bring them back after 6, that's my bedtime. What is 5 Blaze of Wisdom? I got so many things again today just for logging on. Aw, dude. That's so many places. Rough road. Well, why would I want to get an Airbnb there? Alright. I want a foreigner. Who's got a cool foreigner? Or Draco once more. Is it time? I believe it's no. Lance is weak against sword. We need that. I wanted to see if we could bring out Team Child Murderer, but it's not time for that yet. This one will do. Everyone here is friends. I miss John Dark. Aw, dude, it's Waver. That sums up Nero Claudius's army. All the details are in the report. Look it over later. One comment from me. Think of the enemy commander, Lu Bu, as a disaster. The same goes for Spartacus. It's no use confronting them head on. That said, these disasters can be dealt with. The two berserkers are like automatic machines. Should be easy to lure them. Luckily, they didn't materialize as other classes. Guess our luck is turning. Were my luck parameters that high? I don't know what's going on. Oh, you can look at it that way too, I guess. Doesn't matter either way, I want to see your face. Nero Claudius, the 5th Emperor of the Roman Empire. What kind of king is she? No, what kind of emperor is she, I should say. I don't like how they do all the question marks. It helps to know who's lit up who is talking, but sometimes when it's someone off screen, it's like, what am I supposed to put in my head? Come on, Natsu. Thank you, but I kind of feel weird. Okay, it's him talking. I'm what you consider a curveball as a heroic spirit, so my memory is a little different too. It seems a little bit off that you became my teacher. Those were my words. Something and becoming a vessel for heroic spirit I have no connections with. Alright, that isn't Waver. That's Waver-like guy. It's a very distinct thing. What happened to me in my own era? Did I switch with this heroic spirit? Or did the time in my era stop, and I'm here, as myself, integrated with this heroic spirit? Okay, they're talking about a whole bunch of boring demi-servant shit. I want to watch a video on Boudica. Boudica, who's hanging out with us. She's cool. Everybody likes her, right? This is a Fate Lore video, and I don't know who this is. They look like a VTuber, but in the description, they source last podcast on the left. so there will be definitely a lot of useful information here. They're a really good true crime podcast. I highly recommend.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Servants. Today, we are going to be looking into what I have dubbed the Roman Tragics. When you are an empire as prolific and as powerful as Rome was, you are bound to make more than just a few enemies. History is written by the victors, but today we are going to be looking at the tale of the losers. These are the tales of those who stood against an impossible enemy and were crushed beneath their boot. But that does not mean that their story should not be told. That's right, today we are going to be looking into Boudica and Zenobia. We will begin in chronological order with Boudica, whose name loosely translates to victory in ancient Scottish and Celtic. Given that she appears in ancient Roman history as an enemy, if any records of her life and times truly do exist, they are either heavily edited or lost to time. However, the primary sources that we have that indicate that she did indeed exist come from the authors Tacitus and Cassius Dio. While both accounts were made years.
Well, it's already less cringe than any Otaku Daikun video. No jailbait's gotten mentioned, we just got statues instead. He put a picture of a statue on the screen, so I know he's better at history than me.
After her revolt, Tacitus supposedly has an eyewitness account within it, and it is widely accepted that Cassius based his account on Tacitus's by simplifying the accounts within. That said, Dio and Tacitus have differing accounts about why Boudica began her revolt, but we will cross that bridge when we get there. Boudica was the wife of King Persudicus of Iceni, which is now modern-day Norfolk. In the year 43, Emperor Claudius, not Nero Claudius, just Claudius, began his conquest through southern Britain. Initially, King Persudicus agreed to side with the Romans, likely understanding that the might of an entire empire would crush his forces.
That was a misclick. My mouse just hit the side of the screen. I totally meant to hit this one to give me Grail before hitting that one. No one saw that. That's embarrassing. You can get some NP though. That'll help you. That'll make up for that embarrassment.
This all became more difficult 4 years later, however, as after a slew of settlement uprisings against the Romans, the local Roman governor Publius Astorius Scapula planned to enact a full disarming of the natives. It is believed that Iceni was spared from this and Astorius' wrath, as Iceni remained independent after this. However, this could be because Persudicus was initially believed to be a pro-Roman ruler, and in some records he assisted Astorius in defeating uprisings. The support for the Romans is further that in his will, half of his wealth went to his daughters and the other half to Emperor Nero. However, what the king believes is good for the people is not always what the people want, and after his death in 60 or 61, the
Why couldn't England just get along with people? Why was it so hard? Why is Rome taking over everything? Why couldn't they just be more peaceful back then? But dude, I'm excited. Boudica, I hear she's an actual savage. She's like one of these UFC fighters, but the Middle Ages version.
Roman sentiment faded with him. This is generally attributed to the Romans' treatment of the
Thank
non-Roman
you,
people
Tomo.
that they conquered. While it certainly would vary from governor to governor, the idea that the people they were conquering were uncivilized barbarians was certainly an effective way of making war easier. King Persudicus left half of his fortune to Nero in hopes that it would be a sign of good faith. But it did not matter, as Iceni would then be pillaged by the Roman centurions. Boudica would be lashed and tortured, and her daughters would be raped. Prominent Icenians had their estates confiscated as though they were prizes of war. This is all according to Tacitus. According to Cassius Dio, he says that the cause of the pillaging was for money. Emperor Claudius had given money to many of those who were loyal to Rome in Britain, but after his death, these sums were now to be paid back with interest. Of course, this was not a part of the agreement, and many could not meet this demand, and as a result, they were pillaged. No mention of the torment of Boudica and her daughters in this account. If this is to be believed, the Boudican uprising would then be because of money. Now, it should be mentioned that many of these supposed speeches that Boudica gave to her people have been largely fictionalized by the authors. This, of course, does not mean that they did not happen, just that they have likely been dramatized.
It's not even fair. Boudica's out here with real world problems, getting summoned as a heroic spirit, just trying to do her best. And due to playing a gacha game, I'm just gonna take Draco into this realm with these simpler servants, like Elizabeth Bathory, who don't know no better, that I can just, like, destroy them by staring at them. So unfair.
To fit a different narrative. But one of these supposed speeches, and her own declaration of war, was to tell her people that those enslaved cannot enjoy the wealth that they own, and blames herself for not expelling the Romans as they had done before with Julius Caesar. The primary crux of this speech was essentially asking the question if one would rather have a higher quality of life as a slave, or to have a lower quality of life and be free. Of course, Boudica and her people chose to die standing rather than live kneeling.
I mean, it's life. Are you going to be a slave? Are you going to be free? But it's almost kind of like, for them back then, that's kind of like the people who like confrontation. They'll go beat up someone on the corner if they looked at them wrong. And the people who just don't like confrontation. Like, I don't think it's that you don't want freedom in that choice. It's just that you don't want to fight for it. So, what a weird decision. Not weird at all. It's just, I'm glad I don't live in the Middle Ages. That's what it always comes down to. Glad I don't have to make that type of decision.
Thus, they went to war.
What a hot
in what
take.
is referred to as the Boudican Revolt. The first course of action was to gather allies sympathetic to
Arts.
their cause, and they recruited many of their neighbors who had been equally ransacked. They
Oh, the rare four-phase battle. Don't see that often.
appointed Boudica as their leader. According to Cassius Dio, it is here that Boudica first invoked the name of Andraste, the British goddess of victory, to bless her army. The rebels' first target was the former capital of the Trinavations, whose people were among those that had joined Boudica's cause. The people had been treated incredibly poorly and forced to build a shrine to Claudius. The rebel army descended upon the city, poorly guarded at the time, and they destroyed it and the temple. A bronze statue of Nero that was in the city was also decapitated, and its head presented to Boudica. Another Roman dispatch led by Quintus Petilius Cerealis attempted to relieve the city, but was horrendously defeated, with only himself and a few others
Don't get him mixed up with the other Pentus Catentus Coriolis. Don't fucking dare.
escaping alive on horseback. The rebellion became known to Gaius Suetanus Paulinus, the current governor of the region, who had initially been out suppressing a different uprising. He quickly made his way to Londinium, but upon arrival, opted to give up the city as he lacked the resources to effectively defeat the rebels. Londinium was a Roman settlement at the time, and was a quickly thriving city, but the rebels leveled it, burnt it to the ground, and tortured or killed any who were unable to escape. The rebels would then advance to Veralium, modern-day St. Albans, which is said to have been razed to the ground as well. Tacitus recounts that at most 80,000 people were killed in these revolts, and that the Britons took no quarter, killing through torture, public execution, or through burnings. During the assault of Veralium, Suetanus was attempting to amass a force to destroy the uprising. However, he only managed to gather 10,000 men against the approximate 230,000 of Boudica's. Thus, Suetanus had to choose where to pick his fight. He chose a very narrow gorge, walled by a forest and an open plain. The forest would guard the rear, and the open plain would make the enemy visible to them. It was at this battle that Boudica supposedly gave her famed speech to her army. Note, however, that Tacitus recorded this some 50 years after the event, so whether this is real, partially fabricated, or fully fabricated is completely up in the air. However, this is her
That's the thing with history. It's just at some point you don't know if any of this is actually true. That's why they're on the throne of heroes. Some of them got more powers than what their legend has, because it's what people want it to be. They were so propaganded back then. How can you trust anything? Like, basically, if the king doesn't like it, it's stricken from all records, and everyone's blowing up libraries all the time, which is just basically a brain drain. Literal brain drain. That ain't backed up on no server nowhere. It's just these basic things I'm saying, but we take them for granted every day, that we don't have to decide, do I want to be a slave, or do I want to, you know, probably die today. I'm just not going to use Twitter today, thank you, is mostly what most of us have to think about here in the lovely first world. We couldn't do what Boudica did. Who are we?
speech, this version taken from
A hand shield? No, that only exists in cosplay. You can't expect one of us to actually put one of those on our wrists. That's effort.
Wikipedia. But now, she said, it is not as a woman descended from noble ancestry, but as one of the people that I am avenging lost freedom, my scourged body, the outraged chastity of my daughters. Roman lust has gone so far that not our very persons, nor even age or virginity, are left unpolluted. But heaven is on the side of the righteous vengeance. A legion which dared to fight has perished, the rest are hiding themselves in their camps, or are thinking anxiously of flight. They will not sustain even the din and the shout of so many thousands, much less our charge and our blows. If you weigh well the strength of the armies and the cause of the war, you will see that in this battle you must conquer or die. This is a woman's resolve. As for men, they may live and be slaves. While Boudica and the Britons had the advantage in numbers, the Romans were better armed and armored, and they had a much more advantageous position. When the Britons charged, they were initially mowed down by Roman javelins, killing many and destroying the shields of others. From there, the Britons had to funnel through the narrow gorge as they were sequentially picked off. As their losses began to mount, the Britons attempted to retreat, but were clogged in the gorge by the wagons that they had set up in a crescent behind them. In total, it decided that 80,000 Britons died and only 400 Romans.
So is this how it worked? Because as far as I know... Hold on. Okay, so we got Draco. Where is... Maybe if I go back here. The here class affinity. Is Beast not got a weakness? Is Beast just almighty, all-powerful? It ain't even on the list. That means they're gonna have to create another whole type to be stronger than Beast. What the hell is it gonna be? Pokemon Trainer? It's just too OP. It's not fair. I mean, it's not fair because we're in Singularity 2.
Romans fell. Boudica
Not all
herself is said to have
Dracos.
drank poison rather than bear the shame of being captured and tormented once again. When the news of all of this reached Emperor Nero, he was initially appalled and thought to withdraw from Britain, but after learning of Boudica's defeat, opted to stay and retain southern Britain. However, Suetonius would be replaced as the governor as Nero feared that he may go on to provoke further rebellions. Thus, the tale of Boudica comes to an end, with a failed attempt at maintaining her way of life and the Romans retaining her ancestral home. But now let's fast forward a bit from the year 61 to 240 when Zenobia was born. She was born a member of the Palmyrean, which is a tribal people made up of the Arabian and Aramean people. And as we have little to no information on her parents, we do not know of her exact origins. Palmyra was a subordinate state to Rome in near modern-day Syria. Let's now play in the realm of speculation based on evidence from almost 2,000 years ago, my favorite. In the Augustan history, it is speculated that Zenobia came from the same line as Cleopatra. This is supposedly supported.
I would kill for a time traveler. If anybody can time travel, just make a documentary. Don't interfere with anything. Just record it. I just want to know that while if Rome's getting fucking sieged and like your uncle's getting stabbed to death down the corner, is there still that person that's like, but I want to go to the bakery and buy my bread like I do every day. I can't take this inconvenience. I'm gonna write a letter to my second cousin in Jerusalem and let him know that it's just ridiculous here in Rome. And then we get ice on the sidewalk. I just wondered this because I found some letters, some old-timey 1920s, 40s letters from some relatives. And you think to yourself, oh man, I'm gonna get an insight on what things are like World War II and whatnot. Oh no, they're just Facebook posts. They're the same thing as Facebook posts. One of them literally was crying about the sidewalk and how no one helps and never salts it no more. And they don't know if they're going to get one of them cars. That's probably just going to be a fad. Like, then everyone's going to get stuck. Everyone's going to invest in garages and gas stations. And for what? For these things that'll be out of style in probably 2 years. They're legit thinking this about the truck. They're just Facebook posts. So I just wonder if going all this in history, who was that person? The complainer, Sally.
By the 10th century Byzantine encyclopedia, making this claim dubious at best. Another offered lineage is the Queen of Sheba. This is traced back through the Arabic tradition and the apocryphal storytelling, but still hinges on the idea that the Queen of Sheba actually existed. It is, once again, a dubious claim at best. Much of this information...
Ooh, I recently learned what apocrypha means. It means it's like not canon. It's outside, like if the Bible's considered canon, right, to the Christians. But like if it's like Dante's Inferno, that's where a lot of the demon lore and whatnot comes from. That's considered apocrypha because it's outside reading. I understand now. I'm informed.
Information is taken from the Augustan history, which was written as a pro-Roman piece of documentation, meaning that a lot of the information in it may have been slandered against the people who were against Rome. So keep that in mind when we discuss this topic. We do know, however, that Zenobia was of some noble lineage as she was given an education and became fluent in Greek, Egyptian, and Latin. At the age of 14, she married Odenathus, the then ruler of the Palmyrean and his second wife. This royal aspect would become heightened in the year 260, when Roman Emperor Valerian would march against the Persian monarch Shapur I, leading to Valerian's defeat and capture at Edessa. With this defeat, Odenathus was deemed king of Palmyra and began campaigning against the Persians. At this time, Palmyra was still loyal to Rome, and for his efforts and successes against the Persians, Odaenathus would be dubbed the King of Kings of the East in 263. He would also be dubbed Corrector of the East and became the ruler of the land.
I'm already just imagining the pro gotcha player that's like, oh, someone's playing Fate Grand Order and they fucking see me not building up the Noble Phantasms wrong, fucking doing the Grail status wrong, watching someone else's Fate video and be like, things in history sure were hard. I'm glad electronics exist. It's a very unique stream, everybody. I recommend myself.
Between the Black Sea and Palestine. However, in 267, Odaenathus and his eldest son, who he had appointed as his co-ruler, would be assassinated. In the coming years, Zenobia would become the Queen of Palmyra, though we do not know exactly when this happened. We do know, however, that she was the de facto ruler by 270, and that it's very likely that she filled the power vacuum as quickly as possible. It is stated by historians of the time that Zenobia was incredibly beautiful and accompanied her husband on many of his campaigns to help boost morale for the troops, and given her proper education, it can be assumed that she was well versed in a number of fields.
And I'm sure she did all that wearing a thong and a bikini that only covered her nipples, as they taught me in world history class.
Communication and ruling, making her a wise pick as the heir to the throne. However, before she took the reins, a man named Maeonius was emperor. He is attributed as being the one
Why are
who
these
led the
golems not
assassination
dead?
against Odaenathus,
A rash.
a cousin of
What
his,
is this?
And out of jealousy
What'd
of
you
not being
do?
appointed as his second. This would not last long though, because he would
I
be
wasn't
killed by his
looking.
troops.
What'd you do?
Note that this is debated by historians.
Hello,
as all of this
Sasa.
comes from one source, the Augustan history.
Did you know that according to Augustia history, all these Lolitas with thongs and whatnot fought dragons, and then that's how democracy happened. We need to keep democracy going. Everybody make sure to vote when elections happen.
It is believed by some that Zenobia had a hand in this assassination as well, being anti-Roman. But even if this were true, after taking the reins, she still continued her late husband's policies for some time. Now, I say that she became the ruler, and in a way, she did. But in reality, she was serving as a regent for her 10-year-old son, Balabathus. He was more or less kept in the shadows and never really ruled in his own right. However, a larger issue loomed over them. The Palmyra monarchy was new, and those who had become a part of it had sworn allegiance to Odaenathus, not Zenobia. So the task of
Honestly, being a good monarch, being the new monarchy, sounds like a good thing, because usually all the other ones, it's like, oh, they all assassinate each other, just murdering 10 of your siblings. That's just par for the course. When new blood comes around, all the peasants must be excited.
retaining this power fell upon her lap. This is what would inevitably leave Zenobia to war against the Romans. The Romans viewed Odaenathus as an official of Rome, and that is why he is granted the position of king. The Palmyra officials viewed his position as king as hereditary. Thus, the Romans did not acknowledge Zenobia as the new ruler.
Oh, hold on a sec. No. You're not coming, Imia. Not today. We need Gilgamesh, because it's time. Not friends. Not friends today. It's time for Team Child Murderer. And we've gotta have Gilgamesh. Like I said, we know what he did to Ilya. The whole roster's here, folks. Team Child Killer is going down.
Of the land, and certainly not as one to inherit the Roman titles her husband had held. That's right. This all begins with a misunderstanding.
Darius, get out of here.
However, despite this, Zenobia picked up her husband's rule where he had left off. Many of the closer territories pledged allegiance to her, and according to the Augustan history,
that is why I didn't want Draco. It has nothing to do with her abilities or her type. It is because she is a dragon lolly that is mostly exposed. But what I didn't count on was Third Ascension. She's a fully grown adult now. It's fine. I'm telling you, these people that have her in Ascension 1, Japan's making a list and they send them to the United States government. But you didn't hear it from me.
She claimed full control of the East at this time as well. There is no recorded instances of these lands experiencing any unrest, suggesting that the transfer of power went well for her. Zenobia even played this wisely, not marching on territories where Roman governors occupied so as not to give the illusion of an invasion. Outside of reinstating her rule, her main focus was fortifying her defenses against the Persians, reinforcing her borders along the Euphrates River. She would also at this time begin a light expansion to better secure her kingdom's economy, citing the fact that Rome failed to provide for its provinces and thus the success of her nation fell to her. She had to remain dominant in.
And then England turned around and did the exact same thing when they had an empire. Funny how, this is why we gotta learn history and we gotta learn We gotta learn what these thong wearers did for us back in the past, or we're gonna repeat it, you see.
Various regions if her people were to flourish. One such region was where the Tanakids were, who wished to break free from the Palmyran rule, prompting Zenobia to send an army to Bostra to maintain them. This, unfortunately, would be a major mistake. A Roman governor named Trassus attempted to prevent the Palmyrans from continuing, and in response, he was deemed an enemy, and he and his troops were killed. The general that Zenobia had sent, Septimus Zatus, rampaged through the city and destroyed the shrine to Zeus Haman. As he continued his march, he was met with no opposition.
I wonder, because like Otaku Daikun's videos have all the cards coming down and like all the waifu pictures and whatnot, and he's got the still image on the screen. And I know the Unlimited Blade Works Abridged, they're always in copyright hell. Yeah, they need to get some fake Grand Order footage. They need to get streaming. Well, Otaku Daiku does. I don't know why they do this still image thing. I would have switched it up. I would have put way more waifu pictures in there. Could have been more views. I'll teach you boys how to do Gooner content. I watched all the VTuber shit. I am well informed. All you gotta do is build up a whole bunch of shit and then never deliver, and you'll get all the watch hours.
It is around this time that the coin minters in Antioch stopped printing coins with the face of the emperor and now minted ones of Zenobia's son. This suggests that she was attempting
Gilgamesh,
to
what
grasp
is
independence
this?
against Rome. She would then invade Egypt as her next target, likely in hopes of gaining a more advantageous trade route to the Euphrates. This was fairly easy, as the Roman grip on Egypt at this time had waned substantially. The place where they mostly met hostility was Alexandria, which was initially taken back by the Romans, but after a strategic plan, they managed to retake the city and the Roman governor committed suicide.
Thanks,
Thus, Egypt
Team
was now part
Child
of
Killer.
Palmyra. This would be
They
the
let you
peak of
hack and
Zenobia's
slash at 'em
rule.
nice and
She
slow.
was viewed as a wise queen, adapted to dealing with peoples of all walks of life, and was well liked by her subjects, and it appears as though she came to some form of agreement with Emperor Aurelian. As Zenobia
I goon for capitalism, sir. I love that all these character models exist so they can take all the money from y'all and make more beautiful animated animes. Support Aniplex today. Look at Waver's hair. It's fucking L'Oreal up in here. Do you think if this was a lesser game, his hair wouldn't be this long? He wouldn't look this suave. I don't even know what I'm talking about now. Fucking history, fucking El Malloy the second over here. That's just straight up his name in Fate Grand Order. I thought he was the host, because that's how you do this whole demigod thing. Yeah, I don't know. Just reset. Forget I ever said anything. I don't know what's going on. The Natsu-verse has broken my brain once more. Does Waver even run around with a Zippo lighter? Is that even his thing? He smokes? That's a bad habit, Waver. Pick up a vape. Make grape flavored. Grape bubblegum.
Zenobia truly did attempt to avoid conflicts with the Romans, if at all possible, save for her takeover of Egypt, which they appear to have come to a compromise over, as Zenobia did not cut supply lines between the Romans and the Egyptians. In 271, Zenobia was given the title of Pious, which appeared to be a step in Roman acceptance. All was well for about a year before the mints
Roman acceptance is what I need right now.
completely removed Emperor Aurelian's portrait from the coins, which to the Romans was indicative of a full-on break. This is largely in part to Aurelian beginning a campaign near Zenobia's territory, which may have prompted her to declare herself empress, as she realized that otherwise the Romans would not recognize her as a ruler in an official capacity and take over her land despite the title they had granted upon her. Thus, the two sides prepared to clash. The Romans more or less marched a clear path to Syria and managed to retake Alexandria. Zenobia and her forces retreated to Antioch as the remainder of Egypt fell. Then, her forces in Antioch fell and she was forced to retreat to Emesa. In an attempt to conceal this catastrophic loss, she had a man who resembled Emperor Aurelian paraded about and claimed to have captured the emperor. This was done in hopes of raising morale, but
Look at this statue. What do we think about their haircuts back in the day? Do you think they had sports clips and was also like, dude, I want the number 3 today? They're the Roman barbers, if these statues are like really portraits, they had it figured out. We'll give them kudos for that, ancient Rome. Not much for the other things.
would ironically come back to haunt her.
Darius,
This is also
don't say
probably
those
a full-on
things.
fabrication from the Augustan history. Her last stand was at Emesa, where her forces were destroyed. It is stated that she allied herself with the Persians in the Augustan history, but once again, there is no evidence to actually support this, and it is more likely written as a way to tie her to the Rome's largest adversary. She was captured as she attempted to retreat upon a camel, and Palmyra capitulated with the Romans soon after. While most captured would be executed, Zenobia and her son would be paraded around. There are varying accounts of her fate, one claiming that she was beheaded, another
They like doing that shit. Cleopatra, that whole thing is a trip. And you don't even gotta know Cleopatra, her sister. They like paraded her around, Julius Caesar did in Rome. It'd just be the way to tell the peasants, look what we did. We pwned somebody. You see, now you make like expose videos and whatnot on people. Back then, you literally just expose them in the streets. As long as they could get a rope on your hands, fucking your career's over. You've fallen off.
that she died before making it back to Rome, but the vast majority agree that she was paraded all the way back to Rome in chains of gold. Accounts after this also have a tendency to vary.
Okay, though, that makes complete sense what you just said about that guy being waver, because really, what has the Mages Association ever done for anybody? It always comes down to it comes down to a couple of high school kids having to save the world, or someone's, like, ghost that they summoned. I wouldn't, if they pay taxes to that Mages Association, I don't know.
Though most of them do place her in the position of having lived out the remainder of her life in a Roman villa. Now, whether this was as a slave or as a freed woman is debatable. This is because some accounts claim that because of her immense beauty, Aurelian freed her and gave her the villa. Others say that she remained a slave trapped there. Others still say that once she was freed, she remarried a Roman governor, and from there had several daughters who integrated into Roman society. This is the most dubious of these claims, as
I've heard of the Crazy Yuri. I'll check that out next Singularity. I'll make a whole playlist dunking on where we even going next. The Okinawas, is that the pirate one? Is there going to be more Sinnoh and the Greek stuff happens, I think? I don't remember. I think I skipped a lot of that one. Every time Francis Drake is near, it's like cool because it's Francis Drake, but Shinji could be around the corner, and no one wants to know Shinji's around.
there is no evidence to suggest its authenticity. Further evidence against this claim is that Zenobia is believed to have died in 274, very shortly after her capture, either starving herself to death or from some illness. Zenobia is a tragic character in history as someone who only wanted what was best for her people, and became the initial victim to a severe...
Wait, why am I using a noble phantasm on a skeleton with 4,000 HP? That's just dumb. Look, this ain't even... How much data on the internet did it take to play that fucking video? What a waste. What a fucking waste that was.
Severe misunderstanding.
I might use Blackbeard. I got him. I leveled up his noble... No, I actually only have one of him. I have not leveled up his noble phantasm. We gotta hit up that friend summon.
Her swift response in taking the throne to prevent a full-on power vacuum was absolutely...
But he's a writer. You can't be doing the things on the islands where the Greek people hang out and not take Medusa. Or does that still happen in Rome? There can't be much more Rome to go, is there?
The correct choice in the situation she found herself in, because otherwise it would have resulted in a likely civil war. She, much like Boudica, merely wanted their people to thrive. However, they were crushed by the might of Rome. Now the question was posed to me during the poll for this video: why is it that Rome is so often depicted as the villain in media? This, of course, is a...
So it was like the Romans, the Russians of their time. You know how like all the 80s movies, you have a whole bunch of Russian terrorists all the time? And like, unless you're Disney and Daredevil and Marvel, they use ninjas. They use ninjas. I think Koreans were getting a bad rap there for a while. So in all the movies, the plays, probably be all the Romans. I mean, they get a bad rap in the Bible too. I don't know about this Rome.
A complex question.
Did they even really exist?
And there are several reasons for it. Plainly, the Roman Empire was a conquering one. They wished to expand as far as they could and integrate as many people into their folds as possible. This meant that the Roman Empire was willingly receptive to foreign concepts, famously integrating traditions and gods of others directly into their pantheon. However, this does not change the fact that they still conquered others. This meant that those now under their rule had to provide tribute to the Roman Empire, and should they fail to do so, they would become enslaved. It was a prime example of having Big Brother always watching over you, and if you decided to raise a hand against them, you would be crushed. Not the best look from an outside perspective and a historical one. The other major contributing factor comes from how the Romans dealt with the Christian religion.
Like, you can't keep slavery into the long term. Are you, especially before guns and like drones and whatnot existed, how do you not trust the slaves to not all just murder you in your sleep? It seems silly. That could explain why everything was always on fire and people were always getting murdered. Gosh, old-timey people not knowing things.
Very notably being the ones who
I'm gonna look that video up. I got Waifu Tier List on the playlist today, but I might have to look that up. Emiya could get someone pregnant, can't he? He's a living servant, and so is Artoria. But, like, she already had a kid, and she didn't pay child support or shit. She didn't even acknowledge it. So, like, no. Artoria can't be getting knocked up. That's ridiculous.
killed Christ. In the modern Western mindset, this is a huge crime and a blight on the empire. Even outside of the tale of Jesus, the way the Romans dealt with Christians was incredibly brutal. Examples being feeding them to lions, crucifying them, dismemberment, crucifying them, then lighting them on fire when you needed more light, etc., etc.
This takes precedent. Okay, I don't even know who Zenobia is. That was a good video. We'll watch one about what Boudica actually did in real history later. I need to... So, Crazy Yuri. Yeah, okay, FGO comes up right away. Is this person also hiding in their basement in the dark? I mean, that one guy, I don't know what his name is like Zvi the Fourth or something. He had a cool video about there should be a plot on the moon and JFK should be a servant and he had to get assassinated for the moon cell to do. It was a whole thing. It was pretty good. Crazy Yuri servant pregnant. What male servants can get... Okay. Is this his video?
For performance marketing,
or is this some other stranger's video?
Subject lines and pre-headers.
I don't want to watch an impreg video. Not yet. Okay, so it is killed it. He's the one making these pregnant videos? Go to his channel. What are you doing over here? What's this? Okay, what fate servants can get pregnant?
Making you complicit in what I'm about to do. Hello everyone, and welcome back to what can only be described as my most cursed video. Today, I'm setting out to answer a question that...
They say Nux Taku's the most hated VTuber. I saw the title of this video, I don't know yet.
many people have pondered, but none have dared to truly ask out loud. A question that once answered will fuel dojins and fan art for years to come. A question that could single-handedly jeopardize any form of recognition that I have in the fake community, forever changing my title as the guy with 16 Uis. Today, I'm going to answer...
It's not that it's impreg, it's that impreg is way too Sonic the Hedgehog adjacent, you see. If we be looking at too many freaky things, the Sonics are gonna come out. Can't have that.
Answer the question, what servants in
The Sonics come out, the Kingdom Heart people come out, and then just anime's ruined once more.
Fate Grand Order can get pregnant. Let's address the elephant in the room. It is reiterated time and again that servants are incapable of getting pregnant. This is due to the makeup of their spirit bodies being incapable of producing offspring, as well as the fact that a servant would have to remain manifested for the entire 9 months of pregnancy, when the average Holy Grail war ends within a month at most. To address the former part of that statement, the inclusion of the ability to have children is wholly unnecessary for what a servant's role is. Servants are, as the name implies, meant to serve a master in order to win a Holy Grail war and fulfill their wish.
I mean, they all glitter away A-okay, whether they're a living servant or just a Game of the Throne of Heroes fucking AI copy, I guess. So no, you can't be knocking them up. And as I said, Saber here already had a child and it didn't go very well.
To this
Domestic abuse often.
end, they have been contracted with the world to serve as guardians to humanity. Now, what is summoned is not actually the true main body of the heroic spirit, but rather an echo of the real thing created by the world that upon being defeated will return to the main body with the memories and experience. This is why servants have no recollection of past manifestations beyond the occasional and rare cases where they remember some things. As both an echo and exclusively a combatant, there's no real need for reproduction, and so that aspect is more or less left out of the equation when summoning. That is, if the servant is female. There are currently conflicting accounts as to whether a male servant is capable of having a kid with a human female. The main factor pointing towards this being possible comes from Hollow Ataraxia when Angra Mainyu has his way with Karen and comments that he should have knocked her up, but he didn't. Now, whether this was a wayward nasty comment made by a wayward nasty servant is up in the air, but it implies that such a thing.
Yeah, could Gilgamesh knock anyone up? He coulda. We don't know what he did between Fate Zero and fucking Fate Stay Night. You gonna tell me he hung out in the church, hanging out at the pews? You think he went to church service every Sunday in Kodamine's fucking church where they have only no people? No people ever showed up? What did he do? He was probably hitting the clubs. It's probably how he got that Adidas track jacket, fucking being a club promoter. It doesn't matter that Gilgamesh is dead. There's a whole bunch of fucking Gilgamesh juniors running about. Angra Mainyu's no saint either.
Thing is possible. To address the second part, the time issue, for the purpose of this video, I am assuming that everything takes place in Chaldea in FGO, meaning that time isn't really a factor. Also, it's worth mentioning that a servant is capable of remaining after a Holy Grail war under certain circumstances. Given that a servant is composed of ether, they need to have a constant supply of magical energy, while the Grail itself provides.
Oh, Gilgamesh would. I think he would. He'll say out loud like all their fucking mongrels, they're trash, but in his head he's justified. Oh, well, when among the peasants, when among the mongrels, at least I'm the top mongrel of them all.
This during the war. Afterwards, that energy is gone, and so servants require a new supply. This can come from mages or through consumption of various high mana density materials. The second way is through incarnation, which is a Dojin rider's best friend. This is where the spirit body gains a proper body. Their constitution becomes similar to a human's, but to be able to use their servant abilities, they must stay tied to a master. Any servant that has been incarnated can have children because they are essentially just humans.
I was just making sure Dr. Roman is on screen for this conversation. He needs to know before he keeps going for Magimari what it's like doing this stuff with servants.
Also, a servant can be incarnated in a normal Holy Grail war through the use of all three command spells, which was seen in Fate Prototype with Perseus. Don't get your hopes up yet, Chaldeans, because the command spells on the Gouda's hands are substantially weaker than those of normal masters. In fact, all dojins involving command spell usage to force a servant to do something are lore inaccurate because of how weak the spells are. Sorry, NTR crowd, get fucked. Or don't. The final piece of evidence is Utsumi, heiress of Fate Requiem, whose father was a normal human.
Get fucked or don't. Joke on all of us, we're playing Fate Grand Order, so no one's getting fucked.
Now that's a funny name.
I'm funny.
Human, and whose mother was a servant, the Japanese creator goddess Izanami. At present, it's not been explained how that was possible, but I will go into my own theory for that here in a minute. Fate Requiem is a bit of an oddball in the series, so it's not exactly the best one to draw concrete conclusions from, but it goes to show that the union of human and servants can and has created life. So, without further ado, let's see who in Chaldea can as well. Alright, so there's
I mean, since he's taken on this subject, I'm sure all answers will be here. But, like, Medusa is around after Heaven's Feel, because I'm assuming she got the I want to reincarnate and live my life again wish. Did she get knocked up?
number of categories that I think fit into this list. Starting with the most obvious, we have the living human servants. These are servants that have manifested by possessing the body of a living human. This allows for the servant to exist while either having full control of the body, acting as a second conscience, or having the two personalities mix. The servants on that list that could have children in Chaldea are Amor, Asagami Fujino, Astraya, Durga, Grey, Ishtar, Jaguar Man, Jinako, Bazit, Mash, Parvati, Ryogi Shiki, Reynes, and Eris. Keen-eyed viewers will notice that I left out Ilya, Chloe, and Miyu, the magical girl special, if you will. This has less to do with my own disgust towards the topic, as both Reynes and Eris are still on this list, and more to do with an issue of biology. One is a homunculus, one is a clone of a homunculus, and then the other is a cup covered in meat.
One day, one of the Fate scholars can explain the Ilya stuff to me. That is Kiritsugo's child, right? So is she not a homunculus no more? That's like an organic human life, right? But like, she's still the Holy Grail. The grandparents are that mad about Kiritsugu, huh? Like, They can't be bothered to go to the grocery store and go buy some fucking Solo cups. They gotta turn their granddaughter into a cup, do they? They're worse than the mottos. It's what we don't see. Okay, I'll save Dr. Solomon.
Homunculus and Fate are complex because not all are made in the same way, and most are incapable of reproduction. This isn't even getting into whether or not they played for the University of Alabama football
Sinnoh.
team. Another interesting note from this list is that Ishtar and Assassin Shiki are here, but Ereshkigal and Saber Shiki are not. In the case of Ereshkigal, she is possessing the body of a quote-unquote dead Tosaka Ren, whereas Ishtar is possessing a living one. In other words, it's canonically possible to turn Ereshkigal into a beast of humanity by showing up with Ishtar pregnant. As for the Shiki situation, by the time that Shiki has become her saber form, she's essentially elevated beyond humanity, so calling her a living person is kind of inaccurate. As for the inevitable question regarding
Well, goddamn, Ryugi Shiki can't have no child. That's a friggin' mental psych disaster right there. She definitely has. You don't even know what fucking. Her story can't even be told in order. How's her brain supposed to function enough? She's gonna put the baby in the microwave.
MASH, as she was grown in a lab, she more or less has incarnated and become a normal human after the events of part 1. Moving on to the second category, we have a subcategory of characters I'm going to call creator and fertility deities. This consists of any divine servant whose myth and legend associates them with either the creation of the planet or the creation of humanity, or strong associations with fertility and the creation of life, be it animal, human, or plant.
Now, does whatever's going on here, does this happen in Fate Grand Order? Or is this someone's DeviantArt collection?
A good non-servant example of a character in FGO who could theoretically have a child with a human would be Demeter.
Because I know in Fate Extra, Altaria is like a huge giant woman. That's someone's fetish.
It is these traits that I believe made it possible for Izanami to have a kid with a human, given her status as a creator deity. As such, because it is such an integral part of her myth, she was able to re-harness those abilities to make a child for herself. The servants who fit into this criteria are Daikokuten, Gorgon, Jacques de Malay, Tiamat, Ketz, and Koyanskaya of Dark. Ketz and Tiamat are both traditional creator deities, so Masters of Chaldea are given the crossroad path of starting the new.
Sidebar, did any of you actually like Quetz over here? Tiamat's cool. Tiamat's got all the abilities. I got Quetz. Decent rider. Get C stars for days. Just never think of her. It's her, right? You got like that little goatee. It makes it so confusing. We're supposed to mind everyone's pronouns, and then Japan comes out here and be like, I'm gonna use pictures and make you confused.
New humanity as lucha libre experts or super horny. Jacques' possession by the mother goddess from Lovecraftian mythology makes her able to conceive, though it is very likely that whatever comes out will be a horror beyond human comprehension.
You're hearing about what fate servants can get pregnant, and you're like, that's not the most important video in the world to you? I don't understand.
Also known as a normal human baby. Then there's the three weird ones on this list: Gorgon, Daikokuten, and Koyan. Gorgon is a bit easier to explain because there is a precedent. During the Babylonia Singularity, Gorgon was able to produce countless demons from within herself, and Medusa, while not normally
Now that's not the same thing, sir, but I'll let you cook.
associated with fertility, was an earth goddess before the Poseidon incident. While it wasn't exactly a traditional birthing, she was able to create life thanks to her unique biology. Now, the Gorgon we summon in Chaldea is different from the one we fought in Babylon. That's the whole spiritual echo thing, but given that she herself is associated with the creation of new life via the Pegasus and Chrysor, I think that she fits this list. Mind you, she'd sooner kill you than bear your child, but I'm a gambling man. Then there's Daikokuten. The rats being symbolic of this deity is not just because rats are attracted to commerce. Rats fuck, and they fuck a lot. Hence why Daikokuten is a fertility deity on top of being a business god. In fact, Daikokuten is one of the more straightforward servants about their ability to reproduce, and that's not just because
It's true, there was a dude on Hoarders one time who had like 2 rats, and they got out, and the next thing you knew, it was like 36 rats living in his walls, and he's like, but I love rats, so I can't kill them. And then it was 9,000 rats living on the walls. Confirmed. Anime doesn't make things up. They'd never. Mice, and then those 800 mice turned into these girls. It's true.
they were written by Rio. The rat gangbang is real, and it's coming for you. Koyan Dark is another one that's weird simply because of why she exists, being the collected grudge of a bunch of dead animals turned into a new age creation goddess. Koyan is capable of creating new life at will so long as she has the genetic information.
Yeah, I keep hearing this stuff about this chick. That sounds cool. She's like the poison ivy of the animals. What the hell does that have to do with selling food to starving dogs in Russia and all in some Greek god alien thing? The Lost Belts make no sense to me. I am Smooth Brain. That's what we're doing in this stream, revealing my ignorance. I'm a Persona fan, not a true Fate fan. I deserve to be shamed.
Downloaded into her tales. Now, does this mean that she can get pregnant? In a sense, yes. Well, I can't exactly.
I'm trying to beat the Gooner allegations here, but you bring up a good point. There's rabbit girls for days. Where's the hot rabbit guys? There never is any. You don't gotta give them the red albino eyes. But I mean, there is that craft essence of, Merlin.
Vouch for how that would come about. If she retains your genetic information and then uses it to create offspring, I'm going to say that counts. Now let's talk about what I'm going to call these special case servants. These are the servants that I believe are capable of getting pregnant that aren't in the other category. Each of these servants has their own specialized reasoning as to why they're on this.
He's presenting it like a fucking PowerPoint presentation in school, just like, I'm here to present. Now, this is why these servants could get pregnant.
List, and I'm going to get into it whether you want me to or not. These servants
Just having to
are
write that in
Bibi,
the script.
Ibuki, Kama, Nido Chrysalter, Lancer Ryoma's Oreo, Scotty, Space Ishtar, Jane, MHX and all of her variants, Ranmaru, Tlaloc, Ash, Morgan, Castoria, Melusine, Consort Yu, Kukulkan, Lady Avalon, Da Vinci, Musashi, Maeve, Kichi Hogan, and Kashin Koji. Let's start.
Now, this is can get pregnant, not who can get what pregnant, but they ain't gonna be mentioning Merlin, because Merlin can't even be. He bounced. That's why he went to the root. He was not. He's an incubus. They can't pay child support in these new modern fangled laws. He'd be broke.
Start with Bibi. While she is an AI, which should make conception impossible, her own incredibly high self-modification ability leaves the door open enough to say that it could happen. Whether she would allow this to happen or not is a whole other conversation. Ibuki is unusual because of what she is rather than who. Ibuki runs along a fine line of being an actual deity that is in Chaldea, unrestrained from having a human vessel. Gods are notoriously able to crossbreed with humans and make demigods, and the god of Mount Ibuki is one so powerful that it is at the center of several famous Japanese myths. So, even though she is a servant at the time of her summoning, her power is great enough that in theory she could lay a clutch of orange-haired eggs. Nido Chrysalter fits into this category as well, being a god powerful enough to make it happen if she so desires.
Not even mad about this video. I mean, Goku versus Superman, we've all had that debate. That debate's old. There's not enough of this going around. This will keep Reddit busy.
Her own association with the balance of life and death also ebbs her into this category. Oreo, though fiercely loyal to her husband, thus making seduction impossible, could have children if she wanted to. This is because of the reveal that she wasn't truly dead because of her divine origins, and that she was merely in suspended animation under the ocean until the events of Gouda Gouda Steampunk. Scotty is a bit of a toss-up. Her representation in Fate puts her into the Mother Goddess category, though Scotty herself is not technically one. But there is one primary factor that I think needs to be accounted for in her case. Runes. Runes, as they are presented in FGO, are powerful enough to alter a servant saint graph, effectively force-changing their class. Scotty is
Is that true? Did anybody in Fate can do anything? They are very fast and loose with what spirit origin means, and then you can be told, oh, their spirit origin was completely destroyed, and then you're like, oh no, I'm so sad, this character's gone. And it's like, nah, not all the way, 1% stayed. Okay, makes sense, I accept.
an ancient Nordic god slash giant, and one particularly close to Odin, the one who discovered the runes on the World Tree. With these, it is entirely within the realm of reason that Scotty could make a Scotette. Skahawk could technically count for this as well, though her runes are weaker, so I'll leave her out of this. Space Ishtar, Jane, the MHXs, and Ranmaru share one thing in common. Servant verse bullshit. Now, something that is often forgotten with the servant.
Okay though, but a human can get pregnant, Rento Saka can get pregnant. We're not discussing the true things here. Would you trust Rento Saka with a baby? I argue I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't leave my kids alone with Rento Saka. It's not even Rento Saka herself. It's that she's a mage. You can't trust that they ain't gonna put him in a jar and like turn him into a crystal or some shit. Fucking, and like, that baby is gonna have self-esteem issues by age 3. Like, that is not gonna be a happy toddler at all if Rento Saka is your mother. Like, oh, I guess I can get you the jar of cookies. I guess you want to put on those extra calories for no reason. And the last name will be Emiya, so she will say Emiya. Like, that poor kid.
Verse and its servants is that they are not really summoned so much as they just show up. The servant verse is a whole thing happening alongside our universe. Now, how new servants repopulate the servant verse is very loosely explained. It is said that whenever a servant dies, they manifest somewhere else in the servant verse. Given the case with MHX, we know that they retain their...
Now here's the death battle that we all really want. Do you think Hermione could handle being in Rento Saka's fucking... around her for like more than an hour? I love Ren, by the way. She is better Hermione in my opinion. That's why I'm like, I don't know. I think Hermione would jump out a window. This is why it's really, it doesn't matter that Shiro saved the world from evil or that he did all these amazing things as a novice. He survived Rento Saka. He enjoyed her. He loved her for who she was, and it was wonderful. And that's why he's actually a fucking hero, because someone had to love her. Someone had to not recoil every time she appears. It's amazing. It's a great love story, Fate Stay Night.
their memories after this process. However, do they have sex and make kids? Signs point to yes.
Dude, she'd have to protect Terry from that though. She'd have to stay at Hogwarts and just make sure that Rento Saka never gets admitted, because Harry would have more than just that scar on his head.
Remember,
I don't know what, instead of thou shalt not tell lies, I don't know what he'd be carving into his skin, but it'd be something Tosaka related.
Space Ishtar thought that she was Tokiomi's daughter. Couple this with schools as well, and it paints a picture that repopulation is a possibility. With the translation of Ranmaru's Valentine scene as well, she explicitly mentioned that she is considered both marrying the Master of Chaldea, as well as having a more intimate relationship. This implication coming after the mention of marriage is just Fate's coy way of saying that she's trying to fuck. Now, of the Servantverse characters, the one who is most likely actually able to have kids is Space Ishtar. And this is because she is a universe-creating deity stuffed into a tomboy cowgirl. I'm running off of the assumption that if one can do it, all of them can.
So, cowboy Tom girl with the appearance of Rento Saka? What is happening with this future modern-day Fate? I don't know about all this, guys. I think they've really jumped the shark with Space Ishtar.
And Talak should technically be a part of the list of creation gods, if not for the deep lore that she is a city. However, the fact that she contains multiple powerful creation deities within herself, as well as being the literal motherland of the Mexica, I would assume that she would be able to make a new line of Mexica at Chaldea as well. The Lost Belt 6 crew is kind of an odd one. Ash/Morgan and Castoria are fairies of paradise, not normal fairies. It's explicitly stated that normal fae are incapable of having children, simply reincarnating in a new form eventually, with few or none of the memories of their past selves. This same rule does not apply to the fairies of paradise. They appear to be something different than both human and fae, and as such...
Why didn't Mordred get a fae form? Next round of singularities, I guess.
Their rules are a bit more foreign to us, the reader. So I'm going to base this off of the knowledge that we have of the other fairies who reside in paradise, namely Merlin and Lady Avalon, who is also on this list. Both of them are theoretically capable of creating children simply due to their magical prowess. As such, if learned, both Morgan and Castoria could have natural kids with the assistance of Viagra magic. Melusine is the unusual one of the Lost Belt 6 crowd because she is a dragon, not a fairy. Basing my knowledge of dragons on D&D, dragons are able to conceive with any race. Melusine can get pregnant. It should be noted that Melusine...
Is that true? Is that why they're called Dragonborn? All the dragons be stealing and hitting up all the women in D&D? I knew that was some strange occult game. I don't think the Satanic Panic was wrong. I'm glad I play anime games instead.
Is a true dragon, or rather a part of one, so dragon trait characters like Artoria and Liz are exempt from this rule. Consort Yu is an immortal vampire incapable of dying. Though she is an immortal, she theoretically should be able to have a child. Mind you, the only way that she would allow that to happen is if it was with Zhang Yu, and I believe that she is still trying to work out the logistics of that situation, which is why it hasn't happened yet. Kublai Khan is another creator deity, but her fate rendition makes it more complicated. However, I believe the creator deity aspect takes precedent, and therefore she's able to create a long line of nuclear reactors. Now for one of the really weird ones, Da Vinci. And I mean this Da Vinci, not this Da Vinci. Da Vinci's superior intellect and ability to alter her body into a perfect form upon manifestation implies that she could theoretically alter herself in a way that would allow her to have children. She would also theoretically be able to create a doll version of
Sidebar again, is there an actual reason for why she's still Lolly Da Vinci? Like, we get it, the shadow border can do anything. Can she just turn herself back? But then again, Lolly her is a really good servant.
herself that was able to reproduce if she so desired. Musashi is maybe the most complicated of these. Up until Shimosa, Musashi is functionally just a really strong human. A human who can fight on par with servants, but a human nonetheless. As such, any time between our first meeting and the end of Shimosa would have been a possible window to make an Iori. After that, she becomes a heroic spirit, making the process more complicated. Maeve is shown being able to produce offspring, in quotes, manifesting her army of loyal Celts to serve her. In the NA localization, they expressly use the term birth for this process, but not in the literal sense. While sex is 100% a part of the process as she needs the genetic information, after she has it, she can produce soldiers from her blood taken from the tips of her fingers. So she and Koyan Dark operate in a very similar way, so if you want to call that getting pregnant, you can. Kichi Hogan is a yokai, and an incredibly powerful one at that.
But do you think this here content creator, when he goes home for Thanksgiving or whatever Memorial Day cookout, all family get together, cook hot dogs, are they like, so what did you do today? I heard you've been making some money off that YouTube. They actually send you money for doing things on the internet, huh? That's what most of the elderly relatives will say. And he'll be like, I just made a video about who can get pregnant in this anime from Japan I watch. These people don't say anything at Thanksgiving, do they?
Possessing a hidden wealth of magical abilities in ancient Japanese martial arts, it is well within the realm of possibility that she has a trick to make an army of Tengu halflings with the master. Specifically, she actually has a skill called Natural Spirit Species that is not used in FGO with an unknown effect. I'm going to interpret that as an ability that allows her to achieve a natural, though non-human, aspect of herself. And finally, we have Kashin Koji. Koji is a bizarre figure in many ways, from being a historical magician at the time of Oda Nobunaga, to being able to defy the laws of reality in her legends, to being a doll that can completely augment itself. Koji falls into a similar category as Da Vinci in my mind. The unexpectedly important lore that is revealed in her Valentine's scene seems to confirm this to a degree, being able to not just transfer her own body to a new model, but to do the same for others and make it fully customizable, which is bewildering. This isn't even getting into the fact that in Fate lore she can just gender swap people completely, as evidenced by Sugitani. All of this to say, under the right circumstances, you too can have a spider wife. Well, that was fun, and by fun I mean I'm sorry. Naturally, this is all working on theoreticals, and can only be described as a Schrodinger's box of pregnancy thanks to the loosey-goosey nature of the Natsu-verse.
You hear that? This is what Natsu brought us. The fact that someone unironically had to say in a YouTube video, this is our Schrodinger's cat of anime pregnancies. That's pretty much what he said. We learned a lot today. You know what I didn't learn how to do? Play Fate Grand Order very well. So, in this team, we got Mysterious Hero and X. You know why? Because she's cool. Look at her hat. Blue and black. She looks so futuristic. Oh my god. Tell me what servant's cooler. You can't. I don't even need to fill out this roster and fill out this cost. This is Party 8. This is where MHX goes. Which means, guess what, Ryder and John d'Arc? You're cool. You're VIP this week. Aw man, Alexander's here. Done. Is it over? Alright, let's talk. Okay, wait, no, I gotta figure out what happened. I'm gonna figure out what happened through pictures. Dr. Roman was like very upset that we watched that pregnancy video. Okay, hold on. Castoria? I already have Castoria in my personal game. I am rolling for Jolter. But in this, I'm just rolling when the singularity is over. So we probably get a roll for Ruler Artoria again. Because I'll probably have enough Saint Quartz after all this and rewards. I'll do whatever I need to do to get 30. Not a problem. But if Castoria comes up, I'd be a fool not to roll. But anyway, he was hanging out with Lord El Malloy, and they were like selling Arby's roast beef, but like bootleg. They already bought it from Arby's, and it hung out for a day extra. They didn't need to feed it to all their soldiers, so they were trying to feed it to Nero's soldiers, and it made their tummies very sick. So Nero taught them a lesson, and they learned that capitalism doesn't always pay. And that's why Nero's a great ruler. So now we're catching up after all that. Come on, let's talk. I don't understand. Not one bit. At the very least, my men were killed by your Arby's. It's happening even now, knowing that. Are you still saying your purpose is to talk, you bastard? Yes. I do believe that human lives are sacred. Even I believe that. But you see, I think this is the best way. Because you caught my attention, 5th Emperor of the Roman Empire, Nero Claudius. Why is it that you fight? Why would you not show your allegiance to the United Empire and keep fighting like that? No, like this. Wait a minute. Technically, this is the real Nero Claudius. This Nero hasn't, like, killed herself outside the gate yet, because Holy Grail and Liv Lidnar, right? She could get pregnant. Fate Grand Order just made... because she's, like, alive. She's not a servant. She doesn't know what the Throne of Heroes is. Boom. All the servants are pregnantable. You just gotta go back in time. Figured it out. That video didn't need to exist. You're right. Why am I reading this mid-story? Came up with a better one. Listen, I can figure this out. So she's still mad about the Arby's, right? Like, fucking food poisoning is no joke. You feel like you're gonna die. What the hell does baby Iskandar know? He's still playing Minecraft. He doesn't know nothing. He's gonna buy he's gonna buy Battle Pass though for Fortnite. He's really gonna start improving. He needs my help. He needs my credit card number. Now we gotta go fight the local goons who robbed him earlier. Get that credit card number back. That's what's happening in Fate Grand Order. Don't let that Otaku Daikun, that fake news, tell you otherwise. If you remember, a lot of the drama in this story took place when Dr. Roman was like 5 minutes too late to a meeting. Oh, I get some epic battle music. Alright, there's no saber faces here, MHX. You're just here because you're wonderful. Look at that! Slash, slash, big number. Oh, the dopamine in my brain. Said, food poisoning is no joke. They shouldn't make light of it, that Natsu. Aw, dude, you can't start gaining NP yet, Ryder? Oh noes. I need to watch the, did they dub the mystery case files of Lord El Malloy? That one actually looks interesting. I might watch that. Let's go for the triple. I mean, I'll watch it subbed if I gotta. John! Dude, this is no contest. Why'd you even show up, Waver? Brighter Medusa is beautiful. She gets to bring out her Pegasus. You know what we didn't get to see in Unlimited Blade Works? A Pegasus. So I'm glad it's here. Aw, dude, fucking, like I said, he'll never... He was actually considering pulling that whole Arby's bullshit again. He's just trying to save money and cut every corner. You can tell by the suits he wears. He's one of them greasy businessmen. He has no morals. Fucking Lord El Malloy. I have one more thing to say about the Arby's value meal. We did not do what you accused me of. Yeah, but it's like, yeah, fuck off. That'll teach him. And you need to start vaping. There. The corporations have been cleansed. I am not wrong by any means. Not by any means at all. So this is where she puts on the sunglasses and plays the violin, or the lute, or the lyre, whatever it was called. Aw, dude, the Japan Fate Grand Order has something? No way. So is, like, Buns not good? Because, I mean, she sandwiches on my team pretty well. I like pairing her with Ryder Mordred. Mordred's got the arts. Fucking Ryder's got the quick. And then, you know, sometimes you need to get Santa Claus Salter out here in these streets to fucking celebrate Christmas. Dude, it could be time for Team Child Killer once more. Gilgamesh, where are you? You want to kill some children today? There's always a Gilgamesh here. You can always count on it. This is not where MHX goes. Murder team. Don't tell me that Elizabeth Bathory is Bunzo. I love her. What do you gotta say, Nero? Moo! In other words, it's the final showdown. Now is the time to gather my strength and yours as soldiers. With this battle, Rome will become one again. But they're the united ones. You gotta change your name then. She said pretender, so let's just assume she's talking shit about Oberon. She's saying that she would never roll on Oberon. That's just fucking foolish. Can't believe she said that to you people. People love Oberon. They love having their servants put to sleep. Dr. Roman, don't even. Not with you today. Inappropriate. I apologize for my servants, everybody. They're ridiculous. Kid Gilgamesh owes me money, and it's like, I can't come collecting because he's a child. So that's why we got, you know, his adult here who's weak to lances. That'll teach him for borrowing too much money. This is what happens when you play gacha in a legal state. What? Gills is good in Japan? That's okay. Everybody can lurk. It's gotcha time. Oh, Elizabeth, now's your time. It's your moment. Can for Halloween, can they just start doing like Elizabeth Bathory as a different servant, just a different outfit? Like next year she can be Gilgamesh, she could be Archer, Gilgamesh, fucking Elizabeth Bathory. That way, if you don't get your favorite servant in the roles, you can just get the Elizabeth Bathory version of her. Like it used to be, here's the swimsuit version of this character, but no, it's just the Elizabeth Bathory version of that character. She murdered a lot of children for their blood. That's why she's a Lancer. She loves stabbing so much. Dude, Mozart will hang out with Marie Antoinette. That makes sense. He don't want to be caught dead with Elizabeth Bathory. He is not collaborating with her ever again. Not since the incident. Not since she said those things on Twitter. I've got a very serious topic I want to bring up, and that's that I'm not a fan of Gilgamesh's tribal tattoos. Not at all. Like, I like him better with the track jacket. Is that going to be a costume they ever put? I will get Gilgamesh. I will roll for that if we can get him in his little track jacket. He's got the polo shirt. I got that on Caster Gill. That was QP well spent right there. But I'm not that excited about real Gilgamesh. Dude, the final battle. We're here. Made it to the big leagues, kids. Who are you? Who's Galati? I'm taking Galati. I like her face. But is she a child murderer? I don't think she is. Can't assume that. She'll be a friend. Why am I bringing a berserker? What am I doing? You watch one weed video on the internet and you get brain broken. Oh, Lu Bu. Now's not the time. Oh, dude, Spartacus, the Spartacus is out here liberating. Day of liberation has come. Crush the oppressors with your will and bodies. He's a regular virtue signaler, that Spartacus. I see the founding ruler. Alright, war's happening. Boudica? Boudica really got food poisoned by that Arby's. That shit was no joke. She hasn't been here since yesterday. I don't know about this though right here. It feels like she should do some armor. This is just exposed right here. It's not very good for battle, Boudica. I can't wait for Babylon when the plot's good. Camelot's not bad. Alright. We've got a berserker on our team. We're in danger. Them skeletons, that don't matter. We gotta take this berserker out. And a rash is not gonna help us. Oh, the melons are the armor, huh? Ah, that's why Reiku can get away with being a berserker. Have you seen? You all know who Reiku is. You know who I'm talking about. That shouldn't be legal. I don't understand how she can move. I feel bad putting her in my party. Gotta be horrible for her back. Alright. How are we gonna get out of this here predicament? What can you do? Increase NP gauge. Let's do it. Not really. Where are all these robot girls coming from? I don't know who this is. Who is Galati? When was this event? Is she one of them Greek god aliens? You know, because that's where the Greek gods came from. They weren't wrong about that. There's like one good Quentin Reviews video. There's a few good ones. But there was the one about the History Channel and how the... What's the show? Ancient Aliens is kind of racist if you think about it, because it's declaring these cultures could have never come up with these things. Only Europeans could come up with these things, so aliens must have helped them. That'd be like the situation here. Like, yeah, there's no way that the Greeks and the Romans actually came up with all these gods and these lores and these things. It must have been aliens that gave them a book report. Does anybody want to use a noble phantasm today? Or are we gonna kill them before we get that far? You're a star, Rash. Look, Elizabeth Bathory's just so helpful. She's got a skill that raises everyone's attacks. Dude, a rash is not bad. Look at that damage. I think I got a pretty good CE on him too. I think I got one of them sea gathering ones. Okay, it is a mid-skill. This is true. But it's about the thought. It's a thought that counts. It means she's not a selfish person. What's the ability where it raises the attack for quote-unquote good servants? It's always sad when someone doesn't get that. I wonder if they feel left out. Heroic Spear Emiya never gets a boost for being a good servant. Dude, I'm not gonna make you kill yourself today, Rash. That's your reward. You gotta live. I think next time I stream, I need to get those, command the mystic codes. I need to get some more outfits. So it's you. Where's Mash? Oh, the restroom? I guess this happens too. It's just you two seem to be joined by the hip, so I thought you'd be together during those times too. Sorry, what are you saying to me, Nero? Why are you evaluating people's relationships and who they hang out with? Aren't we at war? She's feeling bad about killing her family members. God, watch Game of Thrones, Nero. It's not that big of a deal. Happens all the time. You think these servants... Well, like, we know Sakahime is hanging out on the fucking internet streaming all day. Like I said, I wish I just had some more fun things. What are they watching on TV? Do they hang out and watch, like, DVD box sets of House MD or something? What do they do? Berserker time. It's time to bring out the pop star. But...
Hello everyone and welcome.
we're gonna have to save what male servants can get pregnant for later. But my brain's breaking for a second. Hold on. We need some hot tips, some hot fake Grand Order tips very quick.
I got the cabin for 3 days. It's gonna be sweet.
This is why we should level Julius Caesar. They're gonna make a case for Julius Caesar being a good servant, and this will help me be a better player. Here in these hot advice tips.
a while ago, I told y'all that whenever we have downtime in FGO, or there's just not a whole lot of hype stuff really going on, kind of like right now, you know, Scramble is winding down and we're still waiting for the Fairy Lotto event to start. I told you guys that I would start a series about all of the low rarity servants in the game. And well, today is that day. Starting off with our boy Caesar, I am going to start covering every single 3, 2, and 1 star servant in the game, and I guess Angraminyu, although that video is going to be a little bit awkward. Low star legend Angraminyu. I might just have to put like a thumbs down on that video or something. But towards the end of each of these videos, after I cover each of the servants, I'm going to give you guys a rating of gold.
Is Angraminyu really that complicated? Like, you just have to hope you use your Noble Phantasm before you get hit with a powerful attack. Is that how it works? It's just a reflect.
Silver or bronze, so that way if you are a newer player and you watch one of these videos, if they have a gold rating, you're like, dang, that is a free-to-play servant that I need to level up right now. And if they get the bronze rating, well, you're like, they're probably kind of dookie. I could probably just avoid leveling up that guy right now. Now, why are we starting with Caesar? Well, he's just the first one on the Saber tab. I was trying to think of some arbitrary way to decide the order of the servants that I covered, but I was like, you know what, let me just go see who the first, like, low rarity saber is, and boom, it was Caesar. So we're starting off with Caesar. Naturally, that means the next video is going to be Guile's saber, so we'll actually see how that one goes. But before we begin, if you have not already, make sure you leave a like on the video and you subscribe to the channel for daily FGO content. Always striving to do better and better. And look at this, we got a new series coming in that I'm pretty excited for. If you want to see me play FGO live, I do that every weekday over on my Twitch starting at 6 p.m.
What kind of loser streams Fate Grand Order?
We have some problems and we start a little bit later. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and dive right into the servant, starting off with Caesar. Now, here's going to be kind of a common issue you'll see with a lot of the early servants. They have very, very low hits. You might see that 1.1% NP gain per attack and be like, oh my goodness, your eyes are bulging out of your head. You're like, this guy is going to be absolutely insane. Well, it doesn't really matter if your NP gain or your star gen, even for that matter, are really high if your hits are just extremely low, because you don't have the hits to actually take advantage of how high your natural stats are. Now, his NP is pretty good. The hits on his NP are 10, so he can actually make use of...
You guys, what does hit mean? Is that the same thing as attack?
Something like that, but his natural cards are going to lead him to struggle just a bit when it comes to genning his NP. You can get lucky with an arts crit and gen a decent amount of NP, and if you've got enough quick buffs going, like let's say you're using double Scotty or even double ruler Scotty to really buff up that quick performance, you can get some semi-decent looking NP gain and NP refund from his quick cards. But really, a lot of these very old servants, it seems how they're being built right now from, well, when DW was in charge.
Okay, so like that's why you got some servants that are like hitting 6 times and then like 1 time. This is new to me. I thought that was just whatever the animators wanted to do. See, I knew I'd learn something today. So you would pair him with Scotty's. Got it. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that.
Natural stats are. Now, his NP is pretty good. The hits on his NP are 10, so he can actually make use of something like that, but his natural cards are going to lead him to struggle just a bit when it comes to genning his NP. You can get lucky with an arts crit and gen a decent amount of NP, and if you've got enough quick buffs going, like let's say you're using double Scotty or even double ruler Scotty to really buff up that quick performance, you can get some semi-decent looking NP gain and NP refund from his quick cards. But really, a lot of these very old servants, it seems how they're being built right now from, well, when DW was in charge, is that they kind of just focused on making their NPs really, really good and not really fixing up their kit.
Okay, look, it's not my fault I'm bad at the game, because that's how I played back in the days. It was more about building up your NPs and blasting those. And then along comes all these C stars and all this strategy.
A whole lot. That's not true of all old servants, but if you think about a lot of the year 1 3-star servants, nowadays it's pretty much like they have a really, really strong NP, and you're kind of just trying to rush to get that, and Caesar's no different. Now, he can do some nice crits with his kit, but as we'll get into in just a second, his kit is very, very limited. I'm actually just going to cover skill 1 and skill 2 together, because nowadays these 2 skills would be rolled into one ball. So skill 1 is giving him 18% NP damage for 1 turn on a 5-turn cooldown. It also does buff the party's NP damage, but unless you're specifically using like Ruler Scotty, who has a damaging NP, it's really not going to be all that relevant. And then his second skill is kind of a decent charisma, at least for him being so old. It's 16% attack for the entire party for 3.
It's Noble Phantasm time, guys. It's finally, after like 13 sections of Rome, oh, I gotta use everything. Get wrecked. Anyway, so does Mysterious Idol X have a good hit rate? Now I'm gonna have to actually look at some stats. I might have to pull up a Wikipedia and make a team of who's got the highest hit rates.
3 turns on a 5-turn cooldown. These buffs together are pretty nice because they do allow Caesar to double buff himself. If you're not aware, different buff types in FGO actually multiply into each other, so despite him being such an old servant, he can actually put out some really good damage numbers while his first skill is active, because that NP damage buff is multiplying into that attack buff on skill 2, especially if you have, again, someone like Scotty giving him a quick buff, which is a 3rd buff that he has going for him, and that can really help him start ramping up some damage. But realistically, his damage does fall quite a bit whenever you lose that first skill. Can still do some decent damage because he has an upgraded NP, and people like Scotty are really carrying the load with like the 50% quick buffs they give, the defense down, or the attack buff that Ruler Scotty gives, plus the additional 30% quick with double Ruler Scotty instead of normal Scotty. So that can definitely help him out a lot. But it seems they put a lot of the effort into Caesar's 3rd skill, which originally wasn't all that great. I mean, it gave an ally a 40% crit damage buff for 3 turns, but also lowered their defense by 20% for 3 turns on a 5-turn cooldown. It was a little bit iffy, but instead, now they also attached a...
Well, we got a case for Idol X Ulcer to be on the damn team now, don't we? What about you, John Dark? Anyway, who needs defense? Don't get hit. Kill them all in one move. I think Caesar will get more use out of him later. Caligula and the rest, maybe not as much, but Caesar could have a future on this team until we get Saber Lily, of course, from Friend Summons.
A 100% star gen buff onto this skill for 3 turns, basically meaning that whenever you have this up and you target it on Caesar and he has that 10 pit NP that I was talking about, you're going to be able to bomb a lot of stars. God forbid you do it in a quick chain, especially on the JP version where they just buffed how good quick chains are. Granted, the 20% reduction in defense still isn't all that great. It's still a little annoying because it makes your servants basically take a 5th more damage. But that 40% crit damage buff is still nice. But again, if you're using him with Scotty, you want to focus on doing quick crits. This kind of allows him to just have a little bit of flexibility though. Then, although if you're using Ruler Scotty, you can also do Buster crits because he does have a double Buster, double quick deck. But really, even this buff skill really isn't the main thing you're going for. The NP is pretty much the pride and joy of Caesar over here, because this is where things get a little bit crazy. So he gives himself an increased buff success rate, and then as
he drops C-stars, guys. He's such a wealthy, nice man, unlike that evil Lord El Malloy with his rotten Arby's, that he actually drops C-stars. That's my understanding of this.
As long as each successive
Pizza's
buff goes
garbage,
through,
though.
this man can get up to like a 50% attack buff before he even fires his NP. And this is actually why, despite him being so old, he can actually do a really good amount of damage, because that's a pretty massive attack buff that, again, if you have that first skill up, is multiplying into that NP damage skill. And you'll see somewhere right here where like the chart is coming up for the NP damage, that if he is able to successfully get that maxed out buff, he is like the hardest hitting single target quick saber in the game, as long as Okita doesn't get at least 2 of her attack buffs. But still, that is quite good for him, because again, this is a year 1 single target quick servant, and think about how highly everybody holds someone like Okita in regard. I mean, I hold her in really high regard as a very, very strong single target quick servant in general, and this guy can at least drop bombs bigger than hers. And even if he's not able to do that, even if he whiffs out on that, he's doing comparable damage to Diarmuid and doing more damage than Frankenstein Saber. So he is still competitive even if you do whiff those. And as a newer player,
I got Frankenstein Saber. Can anyone make a case for how she's good? She's always like getting burnt and having to hurt herself to do cool things. Caesar seems simpler.
Here with this guy being a 3-star, he is very, very solid because you could pretty much just bring him into even neutral fights and have him just nuke enemies into the ground. He will do a massive amount of damage. God forbid you bring him up against enemies that he has type advantage against, you know, any Lancers or Berserkers or something along those lines. He's going to absolutely crush them. And that's why it might be very surprising for you guys to hear me say that I'm going to give him a silver star. Now, the reason I'm actually doing that is for his problems in actually
a fucking silver star? That seems like a hot fucking take. I don't know about that. I mean, he's free. That can't be true. We all know this is no free-to-play game. This is steal your mom's credit card game. It can't be true. Silver star season, I don't know.
Actually getting to his NP, if all of the buffs go down, he's going to be very,
don't look
very
at the
hard
screen.
pressed
This
to
is
actually get to his NP. Granted, you have people like Scotty and Ruler Scotty that literally pump NP into him, but there are other low rarity servants that I'm also trying to consider in the future that are definitely going to get that gold rating. And with those characters in mind, I can't in good conscience put him up there, but he would be like a very solid silver rating. A servant that I...
Now we can appreciate... Well, bye, Nero. Thank you for all your help. Totally not my fault. But we can appreciate Mysterious Idol X. You know, that's a good hit rate. I think Arash has a good one too, doesn't he? Let's see. Let's count people's hits. You do arts. Okay. John. 1. Okay. So John's is 1. They all had 1. I think I'm confused on this. But I know Musashi gets a lot. Did he just fucking hit us with the tree? That's... I didn't very much care for that. John. How'd this happen? How'd we get here? Oh, Mash is here. That's fine. How'd this happen? This guy, I was supposed to watch his awesome gameplay and hear his awesome facts and be better than this. And I wasn't. I don't know about this YouTube channel and his hot tips. I don't know about his ratings.
I definitely recommend a lot of new players to level up. Because one of the really weird things about the Saber class is that a lot of them are just really high rarity. I noticed this when I was first starting FGO on like my personal account. I noticed that like if you wanted any decent Saber, they're all like 4 stars and above. Your options when it comes to free-to-play Sabers is very, very limited. Your counter kind of offer for Caesar is going to be Bedivere, but unfortunately Bedivere is story locked. And so for a lot of people, he's going to be stuck at NP1. Which is why, again, I recommend that you level up Caesar. This guy definitely does put in work, and I cannot recommend him enough. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Am I not giving him a high enough ranking? Do you think maybe...
Fucking God Pillar? Oh my god, I gotta like... Okay, we learned about Caesar. I gotta get good. I gotta get focused. The God Pillars? That's some scary business. But I gotta believe in me. So we definitely need John to arc. We need that. We need that immunity. And I'm gonna need her to start picking up the Noble Phantasm pace. Oh, he said something sad, I'm sure. Good for him. Dude, we might bring Castoria. We might steal Castoria from support. That's who we need. That'll keep us safe. All right. Come on, Fate, my gosh. Alright, enemy class, unknown. I think I need Castoria. Well, Merlin would do too as well. Should we bring Merlin since we've been talking such a mess about him? Look at this. Overtracked has level. We're taking her. That's a good medium. That'll work. Because we got Joan of Arc for immunity. This will be Team Pillar. No, I'm not gonna stall it completely. They're not gonna all be on the front lines. I just need her to keep pumping Jeanne d'Arc full of MP. That's my plan, and then MP. Then we'll have one killer on this team, and then MASH can come in for backup. You know, starvation, is that really a bad craft? Why would I put that on a 5-star? That'd just be ridiculous. What would be a good craft essence? We could just start out, we could give ladies and gentlemen to 2 different servants, just have 20 C-stars from the beginning. Just start wailing on them. You know, I might give it to her. That'd just be a waste. That's just a first turn give. Increase attack and defense. Critical strength is no laughing matter for a ruler. We'll go with ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure her noble phantasm's banger. But now who's gonna be our killer? Who's gonna be getting strikes in? We're gonna put the code cast on our killer here. We could go Nitocris. I mean, we just... It has to be Julius Caesar, doesn't it? Julius Caesar has to be in the party. This is his land, but Nitocris is more attractive than him. So that's just how it goes sometimes. Alright, arts is her thing. Arts effectiveness by 8% and critical strength by 15%. We need to get some C-stars going if we're gonna do all this critical crap. Code cast, that's what we'll do. MASH is gonna be here. She'll be backup support. Give her starvation. I guess Elizabeth Bathory, second striker. Probably gonna get a level 3 craft essence. Alright, I think I can do it. I believe in me. Well, well, to think you took out Romulus. Wasn't that hard? Well, actually, that's a lie. I only had 2 servants left. Lev, I'm sorry for putting up such a bad display, really. Nice work for a mere demi-servant. Have you become more powerful since I last saw you at Fuyuki? However, a servant is still a servant. Sorry, but you'll never surpass the power of the Holy Grail. Whoa! Don't tell Mashu that. She's just getting started in her new career path. Lev. The self-esteem. Please. Is that the court mage? Then that golden chalice he has is... Yes, that's the Holy Grail. It looks similar in shape to the one we saw before. Who could have thought that a court mage would simply ignore his king's crisis? I guess betrayal is second nature to you now, Professor Lev. That is true. He did blow up a place. First he built them a telescope, if I'm to understand this. He built them a telescope to see all time and space, but then he said, I'm gonna blow this place up and cause trouble. That's what that Lev learner is all about. We don't like him. Actually, perhaps this is the real you. You seem more energetic than when you were at Chaldea. Dude, Roman, chill. I see. Looks like you've learned to talk back, girl. Fucking microaggression.
I am bloodlusted right now.
Them pillars. Is he gonna... Wait, does he turn into the pillar? I know he doesn't make it to any important scene of any importance. I would have been back at the temple already, but I got sent back out. As a result, I'm here to do some cleanup. The plan was to give the grail to a fitting fool, then enjoy what would unfold, but you ruined that. I see. Find a human or heroic spirit who wants to plunge an era into madness. Then if you give them the grail, that era would surely drive itself into madness. That's what happened in France, but this time, Nero was here. Yes, the holy... That's a big word. I'm not saying that word today. Romulus did not wish for the downfall of mankind. That's why. Aw, dude, you hear that hot track? Screw whatever's happening. I don't care who got turned into a pillar. It's Fox Girl time. Hi. My name's Floros. Alright. Gonna increase your noble phantasm. We'll do this. I will destroy this demon pillar. And the judges out there, you all give me a score 1 to 10 on how great my strategy was. But we gotta defend. I mean, these are sea stars. You just don't not get sea stars. I'm gonna level up her skill next chance I get. We don't want that yet. Not yet. Alright, so I would assume... Well, I mean, Tamamo's like a level 120 if I recall, so we should just let her do her thing. Maybe she'll knock it all out in one turn. Boom. Ah! Oh, look! Oh, what? What? I'm hoping that my score is 10 out of 10. Just make a support servant that's level 120. Kill it. Boom. This game's not hard. Why do I gotta watch tutorial videos for what? For what? Void dust. That's all that was. That's all it is now. Just fucking void dust. Feed it to Medea. Fuck this playthrough. I played on my personal account. I want y'all to know. I forgot the scenario, but Medea was the last servant standing. I thought I had to use command seals and bring everyone back to life, but nah. Medea is clutch sometimes, that's all. We did it, y'all. Levliner, you little cockroach. Never again. Impossible. A mere heroic spirit. Do you really think you can repel one of the gods? I did! Dude, I didn't even have to sweat or think. Well, I mean, I did think. I thinked way longer than the battle was. It was for you, Lev Learner. You dick. Oh, there's probably plot happening right now. I think he, like, hung out in Solomon's temple, doing things. He was gonna sacrifice Rome, a whole country, to make a philosopher's stone. Full Metal Alchemist, that's what he was doing. Rome is the world, and the world shall never come to an end. Dude. Lev. Summoning demon pillars is one thing, but you know how Nero feels about the arts and her expression. Please don't be hurting her feelings. Ah, dude. Why are you bringing her into it? Don't bring her into this. Hi, Altera. Kill, destroy, incinerate with your power. Burn Rome in the Singularity. He's just so mad about what I did to that demon pillar, dude. Fucking Altera, like I'm scared. Aw, dude. Ow! He was cut in half by a servant he summoned. Her true name is Altera. She's probably a saber. Probably. With how far his guts just flew across the hallway, you could think she's an assassin. Okay, listen, this is hype, but this is not Altera's... This is not Altera's song right here. Warrior of the Hun, and its king. I am the king of destruction, the one who destroyed the Western world. Destruction. Altera. See what I mean? She's just always so dramatic. Every time she shows up, like, we get it. There was female King Arthur, and that was cool. And you were like, we just need to make female Genghis Khan. Now, female Nero Claudius, they'll see that coming. We need another one. And then I understand why she feels this way. The way they treated her, creating her secondary character was wrong. But she didn't need to just explode like that. Am I wrong? She did that in Minecraft, of course. Oh, dude, look what she left us. She left us a St. Quartz. Good night. Last node then. Then we're out of here. Then France is cleared. So we can meet some new waifus. I'll have to save Waifu Tier List for another day. Well, what we learned about history was Caligula, bad dude. Alright, who's the writer gonna be? Who's upset with us? We need an assassin, a real assassin, not Jinkei. By real assassin, I mean someone with higher levels, such as Jack the Ripper. Everyone's favorite friend. Can make this work. Since Team Pillar didn't even get a chance to do a damn thing. Thought I was gonna die. Right, with the release of an anti-Fortress Noble Phantasm so close, I'm amazed you're not dead. Thank you, MASH, you too, Boudica. That was great timing. To be honest, that was close. Yeah, you were in a raid, we were all in a raid. You think dramatic gonna happen? Is anyone gonna, like, fall on a safety pin? Or step on a Lego? Jack is a very good dragon slayer. I don't know about Elizabeth Bathory. Those are like her cousins or some shit. Leave it up to John. She's from France, so she knows everything there is to know about dragons. Actually, is there any French dragons? Because, like, you know, you got the dragon on the Welsh flag. The British people, they love their dragons. And then you got Fafnir, though. That's kind of like the Germanic tribes. That's like up there way in Europe. And then you got the Chinese dragons and whatnot. Did France have a dragon? Did it smoke cigarettes? That's the only stereotype I know about French people. Well, that next QC. That dragon's not female. That berserker. Who are we to say? Dude, we're gonna have so many C stars from this. You know what? Why not? Why not? I want to watch a waifu video. I want to see who people think the hottest of these PNGs are.
Maybe he should have gotten that gold star.
I might disagree with them. I, as a white female, a white straight female, might have to register my opinion on the internet, you know, because that's what everybody has to do. And if they're wrong, they need to be told they're wrong. They might have a bad opinion. I'll set it up. Hopefully this person doesn't have a potato mic. Even though I find potato mics quite funny.
Yo, what's up, guys? This is Hunt to the Ray Dragon. I'm here today to bring you guys a special live team. Today, we're going to be going on to tiermaker.com and doing the create the fake Grand Order Waifu Tier List. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. So the first one on the waifu list, of course, is our girl Marsh Curry Light. Now, Marsh Curry Light, I'm definitely using a lot of her, like almost all the time. So of course, I'm going to.
Isn't this
she's
exciting?
Like a top billing waifu because she is the one we are mostly keeping with. Like, she's the one I keep in my party at almost all times. I love her design. I love her personality. She's the cute Kohai character who is always following you around like a little lost puppy. It's adorable. So of course I'm going to.
I didn't mean to do that.
So of course I'm enjoying that. So Mosh instantly the EX, of course, true waifu. Of course, she's the one I would marry in a heartbeat. Like, seriously, if she was real and she came to life, marry her in a heartbeat. She is the best waifu right now. So, here, let me see. Live streaming tier maker. FGO. Okay, the next one is, of course, Artoria Pendragon. Do not call her Altrea because I don't even know why they're doing that.
I don't know. Where's the excitement, my dude? This is serious. This is fake Grand Order waifus.
They did that. Waifu tier. Okay, now Artrea, because of the Fate Stay Night series, I have always held her in high regards. She is like, I absolutely adore the original Fate Stay Night Saber, and I enjoy her character in Fate GO, but she's not a true waifu, unfortunately.
Oh, did you all hear that? He just said Artoria Pendragon is not a true waifu. Being in Fate Stay Night, that don't give her a pass. She don't get a pass for that. That's an opinion he had.
Right now, so
I don't think she should get a Fate Stay Night pass. I don't think she's the coolest Fate Grand Order servant. Hot take, I said it.
Oh, she's of course the S rank just because I don't have her in FGO.
My mouse is being
from what I
horrible
know
today.
most about her in Fate Stay Night, Fate Unlimited Blade Works, I love her. I love her character the most in the series. She was the person to actually she was the character I enjoyed the most and make me get into the series as a whole when I first seen FGO, and her route has the best ending. Actually, you know what? Because of the Avalon real Nutua aura, real shit. The final little thing that they had in the real Tenua version of Fate Stay Night visual novel. She is of course true waifu. She is the true waifu at camp. And
wait, is she not true waifu or true waifu? I don't know what kind of standard we're grading by here. Salter, I wonder if Salter ranks higher.
Here we go. Her alter form. Her alter form is of course S rank. Her alter form right now, I have her high. She would have been an A rank, but because of the fact that I just played the Corteen Shinjuku event, I'm still playing it right now, and she just came rolling in on a motorcycle. She is instantly S rank, of course. I love Artoria Pendragon alt here, and her personality is both cute and funny. And in Carnival Phantasm, she is absolutely hilarious when she appeared because of the fact that Gilgamesh came into like into the little cafe she was working at and was annoying Artoria so much that when he said he was going to take her home for dessert, she snapped, pull out her little.
This is a real fan right here. He is not only using Fate Stay Night when grading where they rank, he's bringing in fucking Carnival Phantasm. I don't know if that should be canon when picking waifus. I don't know about this scoring.
Cowlick got a hug, and she straight and went into dark in that dark form, and she was just laying into Gilgamesh, and for some reason Gilgamesh just has like this super crush on her. So it's fucking hilarious. And she is absolutely adorable with her little crush on Cheryl because of the fact that when she came home drunk and Cheryl welcomed her home, she instantly reverted back to her normal self without even trying. So yeah, I enjoy Artoria. She's an S.
Wait, is this true? Did Shiro? No. Artoria Pendragon, not ours, was not a drinker. No. I refuse to believe that. King Arthur, honor, chivalry, don't you know?
Rank. Okay, now we have Artoria Lily. She's an A rank, super adorable. I love this version of Artoria Pendragon. This is basically her in her more teenage years, as she is holding the sword of the stone. So she had just stopped aging, but she is still with her more innocent personality. She's absolutely adorable. I love her, especially
I like Saber
in
Lily.
FGO. I instantly got her all the way to her max thing. So yeah, there's that.
She looks like Artoria, but like not mad.
I love her character. So
not so serious.
Yeah, we have her. She's getting an A rank, of course. Now we have Nero Claudius. Nero Claudius, EX, of course. I mean, Fate.
I don't know about that. Well, I mean, they're the same person. Well, we did learn that everything that happened to Fate Nero actually happened in real life, other than it was a male, pretty much. So, and King Arthur wasn't real. So, based on that scale, I think I'd give Nero a few, like, IRL points, if Fate Stay Night points are allowed.
Fate Last Encore. The freaking opening alone puts her at EX rank type waifu. Her character in Fate Extra. Her character in Fate Extilla the Umbran Star. Her character in Fate Extilla Link. Love.
He just showed his credentials. This is a real fan. I shouldn't be criticizing nothing.
I just love Nero Claudius. She's adorable, and she is like when she's like in love with somebody, she's like the cutesy like little waifu type. It's super adorable. I just love that. Let me see. What is it called? Waifumaker.com? I mean, no, Tier Maker. Tiermaker.com. And I just sent this out so that everybody will be knowing that I'm actually doing the live stream for this.
Man, when you make this content, not only can you not talk about to your relatives what you make because they just won't understand, but you gotta make sure to send out your tweet to let everyone know that you are ranking them hot PNGs today. Like I said, who am I to judge anybody who's doing fake Grand Order contents on the internet? I think it's garbage, but yet here we are.
And so yeah, she is definitely at EX rank, and her final form
playing gotcha games on stream.
Saber Venus. I love Saber Venus. Oh, and because she has the freaking paddle thing, that adorable little thing that she does. I love the paddle thing. Okay, so now we have.
Okay, so is the Peru thing, is that where the Umu comes from?
We have Altria, or Altera. So Altera, of course. Damn, like 3 sabers out of 3 sabers already have reached the EX True Waifu route. I have her there because her route and Fate Extilla the Umbran Star is absolutely heart-wrenching. Literally, I was almost bursting in tears after I finished that route. I just love her. I really do. And I like the fact that she's turned into like a lolly now and she calls you Papa. Oh.
Okay, I don't know about all that. I'll give the pass for Saber Lily just because she looks like the nicer, happier version and not so serious version. I don't know about that one.
Oh, it's so fucking adorable. And then there's the of course it's the Christmas event that's gonna be at the end of this year, and you can get her at Santa Altoria. Whoo, man, I am definitely going to get her no matter what. No matter
this
what,
is a real
I will
fan.
get her, and I will get her to her final extension, and I will be grilling the shit out of her. I absolutely love Altilla the Hun, or Altera the Hun. I just love her. She's the EX True Waifu, of course. Now we have, we have this one, the girl from the Archer. I believe she was Archer of Red, or was she Archer of Black? I can't remember off the top of my head, but I do. As a character, she's pretty cool. Though I don't know where I'm going to actually put her. And actually, I kind of forgot her name. Wow. I can't believe I forgot.
Wow. So the Umbral, he likes that Fate so much. The video game with the Umbral Star Extra CC, he didn't play Extra CC. That didn't get localized. He played something. And it made him cry. But he don't even know who Atalanta is. He didn't watch, he says he watched Fate Apocrypha. There was like 4 episodes for crying about dead children or something. How do you not remember? Fake fan. Alright, Rome's almost done. We'll come back to that video later though. I think that was kind of more entertaining than I thought it'd be. I've got to test how much of a fan he really is. Alright, this is gonna be the wrap up. I think we're gonna fight Nero. Nero's probably gonna want to test our strength. See if we have what it takes to be number 1. But we're gonna bring... not the pillar. We need to stop editing the pillar team. We're gonna bring the friends. Nero's gonna see that our boy here, Arash, with that smile on his face, he's friends with Joan of Arc. and her younger self. He's cool with all the Johns. And then Nero will understand with the power of friendship. We will save the world from the evil Roman Singularity. Oh no, wait, we're fighting Ultria. That's how much I've been paying attention to the plot. Altera. That guy cried about Altera. Doesn't know who Atalanta's name is. Look, Nero is disappointed at him. She's saying, oh my god. He says he's a fan, but he doesn't know who Atalanta is. And he cried over you and not me. That first scene from Fate Extra Encore. He's not gonna cry over me. I died at the end of that. God. Nero's steaming. Altera's just glad to be here. She doesn't get out often. That's why Nero's just inviting her to the club. That's how they'll solve this. Just a nice girls' night out, you know, and Mash can come too. Dr. Roman can't, though, because he keeps doing weird things on the internet. But then Mash is out here like, prepare for anti-servant combat. Master your orders. And it's like, oh, I guess I gotta play the game now. That sums up the stream, basically. Who's your favorite waifu? I like Mysterious Hero and X. I made a whole party for her, even though I don't have her. Alright, this is it. Last battle of the night. I was more scared of the pillars. After that, after I one-shotted the pillars, I don't got nothing to worry about. I'm just styling. Oh, why didn't I use her Noble Phantasm? Oh, I did. The ADD is getting so bad, it only takes 2 seconds to forget what I'm doing. This is what playing these live service microtransaction games will do to you. This is actually a PSA. You might see how in one turn, I took Altera down half health. You might be thinking, oh, that was so cool how those numbers flash across the screen. Maybe I will try this gacha gaming. And then I won't have to buy an expensive AAA game. That's a good alternative. Like, if you actually like Fate or dunking on Fate, you could have fun with Fate Grand Order, and then you don't have to buy a PS5. You don't gotta buy the Switch 2. You don't gotta do nothing you don't want to do. Tell them video game companies that if they keep up their stuff, their stinginess, you're gonna play Fate Grand Order, and that'll show them. This isn't even on the Switch. This is only on the phone. And every time you're on your phone, you're not playing a Nintendo product. Unless it's Pokemon Go. But why would you play Pokemon Go when you could play Fate Grand Order like this? Look at that. Oh, dude. She just killed a Hun with a dolphin. What other game's gonna give that to you? Bet you can't name one. Dude, our bond's going up with everybody. Aw, what a fun journey we all had in Rome, everybody. We did it. Did you learn your lesson, Altera? We all sure grew this summer. It was very wild when there was a whole, like, war over fast food. And then Caligula was being all incestual. Oh my god. And then Caesar was actually pretty chill. We all grew as people. Some of us disappeared because we made God cry, but we'll be back later. She's right, Mash. We had a hell of a summer. But is it over? Have you obtained that Holy Grail? Yes, we've obtained the Holy Grail. It was added to the inventory. Thank you very much, Nero Claudius. Mash, your toes are looking faint. Don't tell me you're going to vanish too. Demon cringe, foo. I see you're all going to vanish. Farewell. I had a feeling. My intuition is pretty sharp, you see. You're gonna disappear like Altria, my uncle, and the holy progenitor. Oh, dude, I'm just enjoying this Persona music right now. Said it was hell of a summer in Rome. We didn't use Mashu that much, but her shield just wasn't Roman enough for our liking. All roads lead to Rome, for Rome is the world. Both the holy progenitor and I believe so. So I will not say goodbye, only thanks. Thank you. I offer you the thanks of my soul and rose for your efforts. Okay, maybe she wasn't real. She was story locked. Does that mean we can summon her now? We saw her. I think Nero Bride shows up in the US. Yo, I think we're actually gonna do the whole United States. I'll read that whole thing. That's... United States gotta care about United States. That's what we do, right? We gotta read that. We gotta figure out how Thomas Edison became a lion man. Oh, hi Roman, what's up? Da Vinci's saying something. Mash is saying something. Usual fake Grand Order affair. Okay, Grail's retrieval's confirmed. Try your best to search for the next one. We just got home! Let me shower! I mean, I guess what we do is Spiritron hacking, so it's not really a shower, but Lev is... Oh yeah, he's dead, dude. Good. Kire Kotamine will come later in the sequel, though. Leave the next grail to me, Roman. I got this. I'm Demon Cringe. Mash, it's okay. It was a great summer. Parting with Nero was so... Dude, you're gonna have more to feel sad about later. Whole worlds are gonna die before our eyes. Nero's fine. Nero's gonna be in Fate Extra Encore. She's chill. Dude, Nero had the best fun. And then we took her to the farm. Mash, it's all great. What did he say? What did Roman say? You need to take care of yourself. Shall I give you a massage? No, I think you should go to bed. You were telling me on the beginning of this to go to bed. It's your time. You need a rest. I'll pass. I'd rather you get some rest, Mashu. She really wants to give me a massage. Dude. Oh, dude, I think I just passed out. I'm safe. Dude, where's HR department? Like, cool, she's a servant, but she's also a designer, baby. She also lives here. It's kind of inappropriate. I'm gonna virtue signal in the gacha game. I think there is a power imbalance here. But what matters, we might have saved the world from Rome. But how are we gonna save the world from workplace harassment? Mash thinks she's progressing, but you know, not with the way she acts in the office. Dude, that's gonna be a fucking grail. And Mashu coins. She's got her own cryptocurrency now. We got interludes. We might do that next time. And Boudica. We're not ready for Okinawa, so that's too much responsibility. Well, that was a fun summer in Rome. Get all these gifts. Do some organization here. What? So Through Rome, we learned that Caligula gets to join the Child Murderer Club. Boudica was real. I don't think these boobs protect much, but I've been told that they are armor, so I've been corrected. That one guy was really into his waifus, and I don't know if we got an inclusive answer on which of these fate servants can get pregnant. Like, I tried to understand, but I was just too smooth-brained for the argument, I guess. What of these do I want? What's the rarest of these? Probably Aurora Steel. That seems fancy. Alright, did I receive everything? I was gonna roll again if I had 30, but I'll save it for next time. We will be rolling next time I come back. Be rolling as some Okinawa's friends. There could be an event going on by then. I don't know. That was my lovely stream through Fate Grand Order Rome. Thank you everybody who turned out to watch some rando play a gacha game and yell about history. I'm totally not a gooner though. Goodbye.